Yeah, I think we're live. Okay, so what time is it? It's 4:20, 6:29, and I think it's ready for action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I want to welcome you to this hangout or this webinar. I'm very excited about presenting this to you tonight because I have a very dear friend of mine that I'll be talking about very shortly. But it looks like we've got around about 360 people on this webinar tonight too. So we've definitely hit a nerve in regards to wanting to talk to you about some things that you might be looking for, some answers that you want to find solutions to. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight what I want to do is something very different. It's not I guess, presentation that you're expecting. What I want to do is dig deeper than I have in the past in regards to sharing some insights with you. You see, many of you are here because you want to learn to become a business consultant and earn a 6 or 7 figure income, doing the things that I do and that I've taught many others and that you've probably heard about. But the reality is, what I want to do is take it one step further because I've got a dear friend of mine, and I'm just having some technical challenges here, but I've got a dear friend of mine that I want to pick his brain in regards to how he's achieved the things that he's achieved in his life. So bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to find. Here we go. I'm just trying to find the right PowerPoint. Don't you love us dinosaurs? All you guys there under 30, I take my hat off to you. But for people of our vintage, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge every now and then handling this technology. So let me pull this up. And hopefully you can see my PowerPoint and my presentation now. So look, as I was saying, I'm about to introduce a very dear friend of mine. Now, this guy has, I guess, if you like, mastered a lot of the challenges or the answers to life that many people seek that I deal with, and I really want to take this opportunity because it's a very rare opportunity. We won't get this chance probably for a very long time to get his wisdom. And what I want to do now is introduce you to a gentleman that's a world-class cyclist. Now, I'm just going to check something here, and I'm going to ruin my incredible $1 million introduction by checking with you, Martin, that you can see my PowerPoint presentation. Is it coming through okay?
No, Ian, all we can see is you right now.
Oh, you poor devils. All right, well, I've hit the wrong button here, and I'm going to... Let me see. I'm going to try again. Let me do this one. I love the old days of go-to meetings. How is that? Are you seeing a presentation now, Martin?
Yes, we've got it now.
All right, now we're cooking with gas, guys. I'm going 1,000,000 miles an hour. But guys, before I actually introduce my friend to you, I just want to let you know a little bit about what he's done. Now Martin is not only a consultant, but he's also a world-class athlete. Get a load of what he's done. Now, he's incredible at the gym. He's incredible on a push bike. I tell you what, I mean, in a triathlete, we'll hear it from the man himself, but this is one very fit individual. And this is all on top of Martin absolutely fighting cancer and kicking cancer in the backside as well. I mean, the guy's like superhuman from a physical and mental strength perspective. On top of that, he's recognized as the world's #1 business problem solver. And, you know, that's not just a throwaway title. The largest organizations in the world come and knock on Martin's door when they've got a problem. And I'll throw to Martin in a little bit about that. But on top of that, he's generated well over $3.5 billion, ladies and gentlemen, for himself and for his clients. Now, that's no mean feet. Martin, are you on the line? And can you please say hello to all of the people that have come here to hear your thoughts today?
Well, I'll be happy to, Ian. Thank you very much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here with you and with some of your folks. I know that they're going to get some real value out of what you have to share with them today. So I'm just as excited as they are to hear what you have to say.
Well, mate, firstly, what I want to do, and as I said at the beginning of this, before I got over my technical challenges, was, look, I have to say, Martin, I mean, you've blown me away. I've known you for a long time, and you've helped me more than I can say or ever repay, to be honest, and I'll get onto that in a little while. But, mate, one of the big things that I recognised about you very quickly was your integrity, and this is something that is sadly lacking in this world, but just for the people out there listening to this, I just want to give you a bit of a glimpse of who this gentleman is and the sort of way that he operates. Now, get a load of this. When I went over, I was so impressed with when I heard about Martin. I actually flew over to meet the man himself and spent a lot of time with him. And, you know, he just got back with a big smile on his face, and he says, you know what I just did to my, I think it was your niece, Martin, but you may not even remember the story because you get up to these antics all the time. But you wrote this sign and you taped it onto the back of your niece's car as she drove along, and she's wondering why she's getting all these people honking at her. Tell me, just refresh me. Do you remember that incident when I saw you for the first time?
Oh, yes, I really do. In fact, I do that quite often. I'll slip over to one of my daughter's homes or one of my son-in-laws, and I'll put a sign on the back of their car that says, my wife thinks I'm the hottest, most sexiest man alive, or my husband thinks I'm the most sexy wife. Please honk and wave if you agree. And so they'll be driving along. They won't even know the signs on the back of their car, and the people are honking and waving at them. They can't figure out what's going on. And so finally, when they reach their destination, somebody might come up and say, hey, nice sign on the back of your car. Well, it's just made their day. You know, and it's brought a smile to their face, and it's totally unexpected. And so we get a lot of fun and a lot of laughs out of that. I do the same thing for some of my neighbors sometimes, and they don't know who puts that on the back of their car, but it brings a smile to their face along the way.
I loved it. You just had this cheeky grin when you came in the door, and I cracked up when you told me the story. But guys, on top of that, now I want to share just another story. I hope Martin's not too embarrassed about me sharing it, but the reality is that it hit me, and I knew that I'd found another mentor in my life. Like, guys, look, understand, I've only had 3 mentors in my life, 3 serious mentors. The first one was my father, and he taught me the importance of honor, keeping your word, and being a man. I love him with all my heart. He's no longer with us, but he gave me some very strong principles that I always do my best to live by. The other mentor that I was lucky enough to come across is now a very, very good friend and business partner of mine, Mal Emery. And he taught me all of my marketing skills, where I can now understand what's going through my prospect's mind, and I can help them resonate with answering their problems through the power of copy and marketing, etc., etc. But, you know, the other skill set that I've managed to accumulate in my repertoire is the ability to create exponential growth for business owners, so that they can have better business lives. And, you know, quite honestly, the results that I've achieved for clients, I even amaze myself. I just came out of our business school today. It was the end of business school, where we had about 150 of our students in the room here in the Gold Coast, and there were at least 8 or 9 individuals in there that are now millionaires because of the knowledge that I'd shared with them, that they then implemented into their companies, and many of them are looking at cashing out for a great multi-million-dollar payday. And a lot of that comes down to the knowledge that I learned from Martin Howie, and I can't thank you enough for that, Martin. It's a skill that you really can't put a price on, and I'm so thankful for you to be sharing your knowledge here tonight with everybody on the call. But as I said right at the beginning, I want to go a little bit deeper. You see, Martin, he is recognised as the world's #1 business problem solver, and he's he's created an awful lot of money for himself, and generally you find that most people they are very self-absorbed and wrapped up in themselves. But when I met Martin and started training with him, he absolutely floored me, because he just told me about how he had the most wonderful time of his life because he got his whole extended family. I'm talking nephews, nieces, aunties, uncles, you name it. He found them, he sourced them out. He says, you know what, you're part of my family. I would love to fly all of you at my expense to Disneyland. I'd love to put you up. I'd love us to have the holiday of our lives, and it's my treat. And guys, you know, some people might say, "Oh, you know, it's all money, money," but without money, how do you actually get to do such wonderful things and help so many people? Because I know for a fact that many of those relatives of Martin's had no way of ever having a holiday of that type in their lives. So Martin, I hope you don't mind me sharing that story, but as soon as I heard that, I knew that I'd found another mentor in my life. How was that holiday? Tell the gang what it felt like when you did that for all of your relatives.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, we have 7 children and 32 grandkids. So when we get together, and they all live here, so when we get together, we have a big group, and we get together at least once a month. Well, once a month we get together and celebrate all the birthdays in that particular month. So we get together, you know, on some regular occasions. But when it comes to vacation time, you know, like you said, a lot of these people just, they don't have the money. They're still struggling, trying to get their businesses going or get their educations, and, you know, try to make a life for themselves and grow their families. And so, you know, it's one of those things that's really nice when you're able to reach out and help somebody do something that they wouldn't normally be able to do. Now, you know, we work with businesses all the time, helping them grow their businesses and make more profits so they can have the kinds of lives that they wanted, that they thought they might have when they first went into business, but somehow haven't been able to do. We just took the same kinds of principles that we use for business owners and said, why don't we do the same thing for our family? Why don't we provide for them something they can't provide for themselves? And we'll all get together, and we do this on a regular basis. In addition to that trip, we rented cars for all of our kids at one point a couple of years ago, and we all drove together to San Diego. It's about a 6-hour drive. We all went to San Diego, and we all went to SeaWorld and some of the other sites. We put them up in a hotel. We paid for the whole thing, went to the beach, and it was just one of those memorable experiences. Now, here's an important thing. You can't do that all the time. Our kids now, and our grandkids, we have 3 of them that have graduated from high school, 3 of our grandkids. They're involved in their own lives. They work. Some of them are playing sports. Some of them have classes. So we'll never be able to get all of our kids and grandkids together again as a group for an extended period of time. It just isn't going to happen because of the conflicts in their lives. So you need to take advantage of that while you can. And so that's what we did. And so I would encourage, but it takes money and it takes time to do that. And if you're working for someone else, it's real difficult to do. So that's why it's so important for us to be able to help other people generate the kind of money that they need to provide for themselves and their families the kind of lifestyles that they really want.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it, Martin? I mean, the reality is you hear some people complain, oh, you know, you're all talking about money, 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 but generally a lot of individuals that say that are people that don't have the money. And you know, like it or not, for you to have freedom, you actually need to have a bank account. And what we find is that most of the challenges in life revolve around money or the lack thereof. And hopefully we're going to be able to share a few solutions to that with our listeners today. But would you agree with that statement?
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, our society, whether it's Australia or whether it's the U.S. or it doesn't matter where it is, Europe or UK, it's all based upon money. In order to have time freedom, you've got to be able to have the money to be able to hire somebody else to do the work that you would normally do. So money is a very important thing. And once you have enough for your needs, then it's nice to be able to provide for someone else the things that they can't provide for themselves.
Okay. Now, just tell us a little bit about the clientele that you have now, Martin. I mean, you have some of the world's top businesses come to see you, CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies, and you are recognised as one of the top business problem solvers in the world. Can you give me a little bit of an idea about the type of clientele that you have worked with and that you do work with?
Absolutely. Some of the world's largest companies and corporations, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies are our clients. We work with Kellogg's, General Mills, AT&T, Black & Decker, some of the companies like that. IBM is our client, Apple Computers are clients, some of the big insurance companies here in the U.S. are clients. And when they have a problem that they can't solve, then many times they'll give us a call and say, what can we do? You know, can you come by and take a look at what we have? So sometimes we can solve it on the telephone, but many times it requires going by, sitting down with them and working through a process to find out where their actual challenges are. You know, many business owners, whether it's a large corporation or independent small business owners, don't have any idea what their problem is. All they know is they're not getting a certain result that they want out of their business, and they don't even know where to look for the problem. And that's where having a specific system, a system that will go in and find where the problems are, a diagnostic system, comes into place. Now, once you identify what the problem is, then you've got to be able to solve that problem. And so that's what we've been expert at doing over the years. We've got several very, very big clients, and we work with some small and medium-sized businesses as well.
Mm.
Same process. It's the same process, Ian, for a large corporation as just for a small business. The difference is, you know, with a small business, and this is the advantage of working with a small business, is they can make a decision, a very quick decision, where sometimes corporations have to work through committees and you know, different groups of people that they have to get permission from. So we're able to do that because of the structure that we have set up. But the real money in this business comes from working with small and medium-sized local businesses.
Right. Okay, so look, yeah, you and I have both worked with individual family companies and corporates, and I agree with you wholeheartedly that you can get things done when you're working with a small to medium-sized company. When you get into the corporate world, quite honestly, some of the hoops you jump through, you get the business and they pay you the money, but sometimes it just gets so damn frustrating to get something achieved. You know, that's my experience anyway, mate.
Well,
But
and yes, you're right. And sometimes it takes a while for them to pay you because they're set up to pay on 60 or 90 days or 120 days, where a small business, you get the money before you even do anything. So it's your business. You can set up the way you want when you're working with small businesses. When you're working with corporations, you're working on their timetable.
yeah. Well, now look, as I said right again at the beginning, what I want to do is dig fairly deep today and just have all of our listeners here thinking about where they are in their life right now, Martin. I mean, in relation to, you know, we know America is very similar to Australia, that the government ain't going to do a fantastic job of looking after us as we get older. In Australia, when the average person retires here at 65, their net assets of everything they own is only $56,000, Martin. That's the average net asset of what they're worth, and the government is cutting back left, right, and centre on social welfare wherever possible. So it is extremely important for everyone to understand that they are responsible for their own future, and you know, everybody does get older, and it's important to make sure you make the most of this life. And if you are having blockages and you are getting restricted for one reason or another, that you've got to get serious action about overcoming those obstacles. And mate, I'm hoping you might be able to share a few words of wisdom in that area.
Well, you know, U.S. and Australia, like you mentioned, are very similar. $56,000, you know, I think that's probably not too far from what the U.S. Folks have either. But, you know, you really are responsible for your own future. And you know, and here's what I've noticed myself personally. I've seen it happen to other people, but I didn't think it would ever happen in my life, in my own situation. But as you get older, you get it's just a little bit tougher sometimes to go to work. A little bit tougher to do the things that you would normally do and really like to do when you were younger. And I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than being 65 or 70 years old and having to go to work every day, having to go out and find a way to make a living. Now, when you're 30, 35 years old or so, then it's not so bad. You don't mind going to work and doing what you have to do. But as you get older, you're saying, well, look, I paid the price. I've done all these things. Well, you may have paid the price, but the question is, what did you do with the money that you made? Did you invest it? Did you make enough money? Did you optimize your experience and optimize your time? So really, it's very important. And look, for a person to have to work until they're 65 or 70 to retire is just ludicrous. In today's day and age, there's no reason why you have to do it. You should be able to put together a plan where you can retire in 5 to 8 years. There's no reason in the world why you can't do that. Put a plan together. Now, that doesn't mean you have to retire in 5 to 8 years, but you can if you want to. And everybody that goes into business is going to get out of business at some point. They're going to die. They're going to sell the business is going to go bankrupt. They're going to take the business public and put it on the stock market. There's a number of things that could happen. Why not get into business and go out of business on your terms? Why would you start a business and just have another job? You know, J-O-B, just over broke. Why would you do that? Why not start up the business on your terms and end it on your terms? And put together a plan. You're going to talk about this later, I know. But put together a plan where you can create a kind of an income that will give you the lifestyle that you want and also provide for your future so that when you don't want to work anymore, you don't have to. You have a saleable asset that you can now sell to someone else. That's what I've done in my business. You know, we created a business that we had a certified valuation of $12.5 million. We did it in 6.5 months. There's no reason why you can't do it in this very same business that you're talking about.
Did you say 6.5 months, Martin?
6.5 months. 6.5 months, we did $12.5 million. $12.4 million. I don't want to exaggerate. It's only 12.4, not 12.5. But this is the third time that I've done that. And so they're in this very same business, Ian. So the money is there for the person who wants to take a plan, a proven step-by-step system where you just do step 1, step 2, step 3, money comes out. That's the kind of thing that you want. And with very little overhead, in fact, sometimes even no overhead.
Well, Martin, look, you and I have very, very similar philosophies. It's quite amazing because our USP, if you like, our unique proposition for Street Smart Business School is achieving financial and lifestyle freedom in 3 to 5 years or less. You know, that is our USP. And the reality is we've helped many individuals do that. So, look, what I want to do is now cover off on what is holding people back. Now, the question is, you know, we have to all take responsibility for where we are in our lives, Martin, like it or not. We're responsible for the jobs that we took or the businesses that we started or the staff we employed, you know, whether you got ripped off. And those of you on the call probably know my story, how I had a $10 million education, which wasn't too pleasant. But it was my fault and my responsibility that I lost everything that I'd built. And what I'm saying to everybody out there is that you need to take responsibility in that situation. Now, quite honestly, my education has been very exhaustive and very extensive. I have spent at least $500,000 on my own personal growth and education. And in the early days, when my wife was seeing the money going out, if you like, for me to learn these skills, to learn how to speak, to learn how to present, to learn how to run a business, to learn how to market, to learn how to consult. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the early days, before I got the money coming back in, believe me, my wife was thoroughly unimpressed, and that's probably the biggest understatement ever made on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. I have to be honest, Mal reduced my sex life by at least 30%. Wasn't very pleasant for me at the time. And the reality is that if I had have listened to those that love me, those that think that they're coming from the right perspective and from their knowledge base, they were saying to me, look, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be taking that chance. You shouldn't be starting that business. And much as you love them with all your heart, remember it is your life and you are responsible for your life. Whether you're man, woman, it doesn't matter. To the best of my knowledge, well, I actually do believe we get a second chance, but we won't go down that path. To the best of our ability, we've got to make the most of the opportunity that we have here on this planet, and that means believing in what you want to achieve and going after it. So if you've ever been frustrated by your business or your job, guys, you need to take responsibility for it and not just accept it, not just put up with the results of what's occurring. You need to do something about it. Now, Martin, I have to say, you gave me some very good advice recently because, once again, those of you that don't know, my parents were married 7 times, and so they might be considered somewhat of an expert in the area, but the reality is it was very stressful for me, and I swore that when I got married, I wanted it to last forever. So I asked my mentor, Martin, because Martin's been married. How long have you been married for now, Martin?
42 years.
42 years. So, guys, all of you listening out there, I hope you've got your ear very close to the computer because I'm going to give you an incredible nugget of knowledge, and it might save you an awful lot of money and stop the wife running off with the cabana boy. The advice, when I asked Martin this question, I said, Martin, what is the secret behind your incredible marriage? I mean, you should see Martin and his wife. I mean, you know, 42 years later and they still just have eyes for each other. It's fantastic. So Martin looked at me very serious. He says, Ian, never win an argument with your wife. Now, I have to congratulate you, Martin. I will do my best to adhere to that. But the reality is that I think my wife got to you before I did, and she might have paid you a consulting fee. Would that be the case?
Well, you know, I mean, it sounds a little bit funny. You never win an argument with your wife, but if you think about it for a minute, it takes 2 people to have an argument. If one person says something and the other person agrees with them, there's no argument. And you may not completely agree with the person, but if you don't get back at them and try to win the argument, you know, sometimes if you just let something go, it just dies of its own death, right? I mean, so why beat something in the ground? You know, find some common ground that you can agree on, and don't fight about it, don't argue about it. And look, if you have a happy wife, you'll have a happy life. And so that's what your question was, you know, how can I have a happy life and how can I have a happy wife? Well, both of those, it's just the same thing. Just don't win an argument. Just don't argue at all. Just let it go.
I mean,
have a discussion, right? You can have a discussion, but then find something common to agree on.
Okay. So, mate, that's quite honestly, guys, this is very important. We're talking about business here, and we're talking about becoming a business consultant and solving challenges. But look, it's a holistic thing. You've got to have a balanced life. You've got to have a great family life. You've got to have a great business life, and you've got to have balance. And so, the importance of what Martin's saying is so powerful. Now, I'm just curious whether you can see my PowerPoint here, because I think I might be having a few more challenges. Let me just go to my Brains Trust. You see, I have a third wheel sitting over in Perth right now. And I'm talking to you, Daisy. Can you see my PowerPoint? She's a wonderful girl, and she's actually about to have a baby very soon, ladies and gentlemen, too. But thank you, Daisy. So we're all good to go. But guys, if you've ever been frustrated by your business or job, I'm just making the point that you have the power to change it. You know, if you've ever been frustrated by how much time it takes in your business, or maybe the staff that you have in your organisation. I mean, now here's some low-hanging fruit as a consultant. One of the first things I look at is the team around the owner of the business and the sort of commitment levels that the staff have. Maybe you're frustrated by dealing with all of the staff and them not being as committed to your business as you think they should be. Perhaps you're frustrated because you seem to be putting so much time and effort into your business and it's treating you like a slave, and you're not really getting the progress that you'd like, and it owns you hook, line and sinker, and you just don't have a life anymore. You know, you're working away, you're putting your head down and your backside up, and there's every chance as well. Here's an interesting fact for all of you guys. Only 39% of businesses in Australia actually make a profit. Does that surprise you? Here's the reality, and these aren't my numbers, this is Bureau of Statistics. So 39% make a profit, 30% break even, and 31% lose money. How's that? So they're doing something wrong, and as a consultant, both Martin and I, this is what you refer to as a consultant's prayer, because there's so much opportunity out there. But you know, the reality is, if you're frustrated by all these things, perhaps you might be looking for a magic formula. And I know I did for quite a while. So, you know, that magic Viagra pill that you can swallow and then all of your problems disappear. Well, Martin, I don't know about you, but I never found a magic Viagra pill to solve all my problems. But what I did find was the world that you and I are both in, which is the world of consulting. What I'm just curious about is your thoughts on the sort of things, because you've had, you know, I've had incredible experiences in my time, but they dwarf in relation to some of the things that you've experienced in your life. So have you ever seen anything such as a magic formula that's going to solve anybody's problems at all?
No, I really haven't seen any kind of a magic formula, Ian, but what I have seen is a process that is step by step. It's just like a roadmap or a blueprint. Whenever you sit down to start out and build a building or take a trip, you always have some type of a plan in front of you. And if you follow that plan step by step, then you get the desired outcome. And there are such things in business where you can have a plan that will help a business take a step-by-step process to take them from where they are right now to where they really want to be, or where they have the potential to be. And maybe not where they want to be, but where they have the potential to be, which oftentimes is greater than where they really want to be. So, you know, you've got that process that you can teach somebody very effectively and help them, not only help their clients make a lot of money and regain the freedom and the lifestyle that they wanted when they first started in the business, but also create the same thing for themselves.
So, Martin, what you're saying really is the magic formula is having a clear goal of what you want to achieve and then having a systematic way of getting there. That's really the magic formula. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's it. Right.
Great. Well, look, let's look at a business that can make $1 million. Now, I know a lot of you are on here because you are serious about making some money. Well, what I want to do is put a scenario to you, one that many individuals use, and that is to try and find a business model that can generate a decent income for you, you know, a 7-figure income. And we'll look at something that all of you'd be familiar with. Let's just have a look at a McDonald's, because many people see it as a license to print money, and I take my hat off to them. I mean, they've done a miracle to be able to have adolescent children running multi-million-dollar organizations. It's just incredible to watch. I really have the greatest respect for them and their system. But let's see what's involved in owning a McDonald's. So, see, when you buy a McDonald's, it's going to cost you about $1.5 million for that McDonald's. And when you buy that McDonald's, don't think you own the land and the property. The reality is you have the rights to run the business there, and as long as you're a good boy, you get to keep the business. And also don't think that if the McDonald's don't go broke. Now, these stats, I can only find these stats, they're from a few years ago, about 2 years ago, but the 3 previous years, the 367 McDonald's closed in America. These are American stats, and but they're fairly similar here in Australia. So, you know, the investment for a McDonald's is $1.5 million. So, fine, you found a business model, you say, hey, I want to make some serious money. Where can I find $1.5 million? Please give me a McDonald's. Now, on top of that, you say, right, well, I should be earning huge money. If I'm investing $1.5 million, I should have a huge income. Well, here's the income that you get when you're a McDonald's owner. You actually net about 10% of the sales from a restaurant. Now, The average McDonald's restaurant does about $2.3 million in turnover. And I say again, these stats are a little bit old, but they haven't increased much. So if a business owner that's purchased a McDonald's for $1.5 million has a turnover of $2.3 million, that means he's going to make about $230,000 for the year. Okay, so remember the investment. He's invested $1.5 million. He doesn't get to own the land or the building. He just gets to play the tune of McDonald's, because they do know what they're doing, by the way. And for that, he gets a return on average of about 10% or $230,000. And look, I mean, that's a reasonable income. I mean, that's okay, $230,000. But understand that there's a lot of money into getting that return back, and they've got to pay back that $1.5 million. So they won't get all of that $230,000 to themselves. What they've got to do is they've got to contend with their massive debt, their massive overheads. Imagine trying to juggle, I don't know, 30 teenage kids with hormones raging through their system. You know, just think back to guys to when you were 14 or 15 years old. Was work the main thing on your mind? I don't know. I won't tell you what was going through my head, but you got 30 teenage kids running a restaurant there, and you know, they go out, they don't sleep, they party all night. They tend to do some unwise things at that age, you know, because they're learning. You're going to have to keep an eye on them all with some pretty serious hours, because with that many people and with an organisation you've invested $1.5 million in, you want to make sure that it's travelling okay. So you've got a few things to juggle to keep the machine working. You know, and don't even let me go near OH&S, Occupational Health and Safety. Could you imagine what would happen, and it does happen, if, say, a young teenage kid is mucking around in the restaurant, he tips over and puts his blooming hand into a deep fryer or something. I mean, you know, these are the sorts of things that go on in a business like that. What I want to do is put to you another proposal, a proposal where hopefully you might be able to make that sort of money without those kinds of challenges, without the debt that you're on of $1.5 million, without having to watch everything and pray that their hormones don't get the best of them and they get more focused on each other than the restaurant, without the massive time that you've got to put into keeping it all together. Can you make 6 or 7 figures without having this sort of investment of time, money, and stress? Well, you know, I'm here to tell you that there are other opportunities. And the one that I want to share with you tonight, and the one that I also want to get Martin's input on, is what I believe is probably the most simplest and lucrative opportunity and business model that I've ever come across. And I deal with literally hundreds of different businesses in my time. I've owned different businesses of my own. I've sold many businesses of my own, but I've never come across a business that is so highly leveraged, so simple to operate, and yet gives such a fantastic sense of fulfillment, both to your client and to yourself. Now, I want to talk for a second about a big problem that I see out there with people that are working. Many of you on this call are either, we've got an awful lot of people, it's probably around 350 people on this call. Many of you out there are swapping time for money. That means that whether you're an accountant, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a bookkeeper, you're charging people for the time that you're spending on the work that you're doing for your client. Now, this is a flawed model, because you will hit a cap, you will hit a limit, you will not be able to leverage what you're doing to a large degree when you're swapping time for money. What we want to share with you is a far better way of going about business, where you generate a 6 or 7 figure income, and you do it by swapping value for money. Now, this is, I firmly believe with all my heart that this is the right model. See, people don't really want to know that you spent 2,000 hours on doing their tax returns, for example. What they really would like to know is that you have got them the very best tax return possible for their business if you are an accountant. And so you should be getting paid on the results that you get for your client. That's the way that an accountant should be rewarded, not because they spent bloody 40 hours on a project. They should be basing it on the results they get for their client, in my opinion. Martin, have you got any thoughts on that at all?
No, I mean you've hit it right on the target. You know, the marketplace pays you for the value you bring to it. You bring a lot of value, they pay you a lot of money. You bring very little value, and that pays you very little money. So the question is, and the key is, how can I increase the value and provide real value to the marketplace? So if you do what everybody else does, you can only expect to get paid what everybody else gets paid. You've got to find a way to increase the amount of value. So what is value to a business? It's the ability to solve somebody's problems that they can't solve on their own, or they don't want to solve on their own. They may be able to solve it on their own, but maybe they just aren't interested. They'd rather outsource that to someone else. So if you can come in and find a way to take over a problem that someone else has that they either don't want to solve or they can't solve, then you can name your own price. So for an example, I could cut my own hair if I wanted to. I wouldn't do a very good job, but I could do it. But I outsource that to someone who's a professional at that, someone who understands that and who really enjoys doing that, a barber. I could do my own taxes if I wanted to. I could sit down and study all the codes and learn all of that kind of thing. I don't like doing that, so I outsource that to somebody who absolutely loves doing that kind of thing, my accountant, and he takes care of that for me. Now, in business, there are a lot of business owners who really like doing what they do. They like to make the product, they like to sell the product, they like to, do the kinds of things that it takes to run the business, but they don't enjoy the marketing, or they might not enjoy the promotion, or they might not enjoy some other aspect of the business. If you can come in with the ability to take that away from them, you can pretty much name your own price.
Very true. And so, guys, this is what we want to share with you tonight. We don't want to talk to you about working hours on end, getting a certain amount of money for the hours that you put in. We want you to be rewarded for the benefit that you can give to a client. And so what I'm going to do now is share with you the life of a business consultant, the lives that we experience. And it goes something like this. Business consultants, the ones that have the knowledge that we have, they do earn incredible income. In fact, sometimes I shake my head at the rewards that we do get. They do get to help business owners succeed, and this is very important to me. This is my motivation. I'm lucky enough to have found the magic formula and have a great life. But the way I have a great life is I see firsthand how I've helped other business owners earn better results from their business, get to have holidays. Some of them haven't had holidays for 9 or 10 years in their business, have never taken a week off with their family. Help them structure their business ready for sale so that they'll have a decent retirement. That's the rewards that I get these days. And as a reward for that, I get to leverage my income and earn great money. When I talk to a client, firstly, I make sure that I qualify them and that I like the client. That's one of the things. I get to work with people that I want to work with. But I do get treated like a king. Okay, they listen to me, and I get obeyed like a heart surgeon, and I work anywhere that I want to work. So I've worked when I've been in France while my wife's checking out the Eiffel Tower, and I'm sitting there having a coffee and watching the people go by. I've worked while I've been in Orlando, Florida, going to Disney World, spending 4 weeks in America, seeing the sights, talking to just a few clients that I work with privately, and touching base with them. As long as I've got an internet connection, I can work with my clients. So this is the sort of life that you lead as a business consultant. And look, in regards to any business, I'm not just talking about being an advisor here. I'm talking about any business. When you're looking for an opportunity, and many of you are, you must tick some boxes. And these boxes are very, very critical for you to tick. So in any business, you must be able to have the ability to find a prospect. And I'll use McDonald's as an example. In relation to McDonald's, if McDonald's didn't have people flooding into the restaurant, then it wouldn't be a very effective business model, and they couldn't charge $1.5 million. So they've got a method for finding a prospect and getting them into the restaurant. If you get them into the restaurant, you've got to have an ability for them to go, wow, that's a decent value. I might buy that Big Mac meal. So you convert them into a client. If they had a pretty poor presentation and their food tasted like crap, etc., they wouldn't be converting clients and they wouldn't be coming back. If you didn't give them a good experience so that they felt that they got value, well, then McDonald's once again would be out of business. So I'll use it now in relation to our consulting world. If you're looking at becoming a business consultant, you would want to know that you had the ability to find a prospect. You had the ability to have someone go, hold their hand up and say, hey, yes, I'm interested in having someone help me with my business. And when they held their hand up, you would want to know that you had the ability to convert that client so that they, that prospect into a client, so that they can work with you and you can help them in their business. And then the most important one, in my opinion, is that once you take their money, you then have the ability to create exponential growth and help them improve the results in their company. These are three things you must have, not just in consulting, but in any business that you're looking at. And what I want to do now is just touch base, because many of you on this call may not know who I am. So just quickly, this isn't about me, but just quickly, I'll tell you that 14 years ago, I was penniless. I didn't know any of this knowledge. I was lucky enough to learn the success principles of business. And I learned many of them from two of my mentors, which were Mal Emery and Martin Howard. I then went on to use that knowledge, and I built 5 multi-million-dollar companies of my own. I've generated $60 million in my own companies, actually well over that now. And I now own one of the largest business schools in the Southern Hemisphere. This is because I cracked the magic formula. This is because I understood that you don't exchange time for money, that there is a better way. And now the world that I live is totally different, and I do live a blessed life. So I guess that's my resume. I told you about Martin, but I didn't really tell you about my resume. And I think it's very important that you know the people that are giving you guidance and advice. And now I want to tell you how I ended up becoming a consultant. You see, I was working when I had no money. I went to one of Mal Emery's events, and I got some information from him that I applied to my business, and that gave me enough money to join Mal's elite coaching group called Platinum back then. And in Platinum, what happened was people could see the exponential growth that I was achieving in my air conditioning company. It ended up becoming one of the largest air conditioning companies in New South Wales, if not Australia. And they could see every time I came back, every 3 months to Platinum, I had a new story. I'd done this, I'd achieved that, I've hit this target of turnover, I've got this profit, you know, and I'd be telling them my marketing and the things I was doing and how I was dealing with staff, etc. And this guy heard these stories. His name was Jeremy Young. And what happened was at one of the Platinums, he came up to me and he said, Ian, I've got a really big problem and I know you're the person to help me fix my business. Now, when he came and saw me and said, I know you're the guy to help me fix my business, I said, are you serious? Mal Emery, the man himself, is at the front. You should be going and seeing him. I don't know how to fix anyone's business. I just know how to grow my own. And I sent him away. So off he went. But then what happened was he came back again. And he said, Ian, I've talked to Mal, but I know you're the person that can help me fix my business. I've seen what you've done in your own business, and I'm pleading with you, please come just for a day. Just come and have a look at what I'm doing in my business and see if you can help me. And now I really, you know, for those of you that may know me, I do care about people, sometimes too much. And so I did want to help this guy, but quite honestly, I didn't think I had the ability to do it. And so I sent him away again. I said, Jeremy, look, you want me to introduce you to Mal and you can have a talk to him? And Jeremy goes, oh, no, and he walked away again. But he came back a third time, and this time Jeremy, he was crying. He had tears in his eyes. He says, Ian, if you do not come and help me in my business and don't spend a day in my business with me, not only am I going to lose my business, I will lose my wife and I will lose my house. Please, I'll do whatever you ask. I will pay whatever you ask. I need you to come and have a look at my business. Now, Guys, it's pretty hard for you to say no when a grown man is using you as his last resort. No pressure, by the way. That's the reality. And so I said yes, and I decided to go to his business and have a look. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to help him. And anyway, I went there, and I was shocked when I saw how he was running his business. I was absolutely shocked at what was going on, and how the staff were taking advantage of him, how his salesperson didn't know how to sell, how the whole organisation there was being run. The company was called Style Edge on the Gold Coast, STILE, and they were a tile coping business where you put the tiles around the edge of pools, etc., and stairways. So anyway, I looked at it and I gave him a 10-step action plan. I said, Jeremy, I want you to do this, 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 and this. And if you follow these 10 steps, you are going to get an improvement in what's going on. Well, sure enough, I went away, and he paid me $300 for the day. I actually felt very, very bad about taking the money, but I also know that if you do things for free, people don't appreciate it. So I took the $300 and I went away, and about 3 or 4 months later, Jeremy rang me. And he was gushing. He said, Ian, I cannot believe the difference in my business. I cannot believe that you've helped me transform my organisation like this. My wife thinks I'm a hero. I've managed to pay back the payments to the bank. My suppliers are starting to get happy with me again, and I'm just going from strength to strength. Anything you ever need, please let me know, because I owe you big time. Now, guys, I just want you to understand the difference. I was making my life by putting fan coils into roofs for air conditioners and turning a button on a wall and saying, there you go, you got a cool home, and I'd get paid a $10,000 or $15,000 check. Now, with Jeremy, what I managed to do was help this guy start earning some decent money, have his wife have respect for him again, and save their family home. Now, Martin, I'm sure you've got many stories along similar lines to the one that I've just shared, but I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, I get a thrill every day I jump out of bed, because this is the sort of impact and effect that I have on people's lives every day. I don't know if you have anything to add. Is there anything similar that you've probably experienced, Martin?
Well, we see the same kinds of things you see as well, Ian, and really the joy that you get. And, you know, I mentioned earlier that once you achieve the amount of money that you need and you want, it's no longer about money. It's now about what kind of value can I bring to other people. So you get excited about helping other people find joy in their business or find success in their business. Some people get involved in helping children in other countries like Africa. Some of our friends build schools or hospitals in Africa. Some of them provide water by drilling wells in some of these impoverished countries. So after you achieve a certain amount of money, you're not working for the money any longer. You're really working for something that's bigger than you. How can I give back to the community, to the nation, to the world, to people who are less fortunate than I am? So it all comes back to, you've got to get to that point financially first. And you can have everybody can have the same kinds of experiences and stories that you've just shared with us.
Yeah. It's I still remember it like yesterday, Martin. Now, what I want to do now, I am swapping between screens here, guys, and it may seem a little bit like disconnect because my computer doesn't like playing ball with me. Notice a bad tradesman always blames their tools. But I'm coming back to my presentation now. Daisy, just tell me that the slides are back on there again. Can you see my slides? So, guys, look, this is very important. This is more than money. This is about satisfaction in what you're doing and being rewarded fairly for what you do. But now, here's the thing. This is what Martin and I do every day of our lives. Martin probably doesn't work at it as much anymore. He's got a lot of other interests on his plate as well these days. But guys, there's a massive demand. There's business owners out there having experiences just like Jeremy right now, and they need the help of business consultants. Now, I had a look at the Bureau of Statistics, and this was probably just about a year ago, this one. Average of 44 small businesses closing their doors each and every day. That's the reality. That's what's occurring. And Daisy's telling me that you can't see my slides, so I'm getting really good at this, aren't I, Martin? But where are we? Let me try again. How about I try this one? I seem to have multiple choice. I don't know. Give me a second, and I'll try this one. And I won't flick the screens too much, I don't think, because I get lost when this occurs. Daisy, can you see my screen now? Okay. So, Martin, can you see the PowerPoint at all?
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay. So, look, on average, it is 44 small businesses closing their doors. And by the way, I think things are going to get worse very soon. I don't like being a doomsayer, but I follow a gentleman called Harry S. Dent. And just as a side note, I've got all my money in cash right now. I'm not giving financial advice, but guys, look, you would have to be hiding under a rock not to realise that the business world has changed dramatically. Here's some hard facts for you. Only 44% of businesses are expecting to expand their business in the next year. Daisy tells me that she can't see the PowerPoint yet. Actually, that's
I can see the PowerPoint, but I see your total screen. I don't see the slide presentation.
Oh, okay.
I can see the I could see the slides on the left-hand side, the upcoming slides.
Right. Okay. Now, Daisy, you got to keep me in the loop here. Hopefully, you can see it now.
There we go.
Yeah. So guys, only 44% of businesses are expecting to expand their business in the next year, and 80% of these business owners don't set goals. Now, you might wonder why that's an important stat. Well, I'll tell you now, one of the most important lessons that I learned both from Martin and from Mel is that you must start with the end in mind. And one of the biggest problems that we see with individuals out there not achieving what they want to achieve in life is they actually don't know what they want to achieve in life. They haven't got that clarity and that vision that you need to actually be able to create a plan. Because if you don't know what you want, I mean, if you don't determine, hey, well, I want to be earning $300,000 or $400,000 a year, or I want to have a home with 5 bedrooms and a swimming pool and my stables and a place to escape from the family when I'm in trouble. If you don't have that clear vision in your head, then how can you actually get what you want? Martin, would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, like I mentioned before, if you're going to build a building or you're going to go on a trip, you need to have a plan, a blueprint or a roadmap. And it's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with your life. You need to have an idea of where you want to go. Otherwise, you know, how do you know when you've gotten there? How do you know what you're working for? How can you measure your progress?
Okay, well, now Daisy's telling me that I haven't mastered the PowerPoint situation yet, guys, and I do apologise for this, but it is critical for you to have that clear vision of what you want to achieve. And the reality is that most people don't, that we come across. Here's some other stats for you. You know, only 81% of Australian businesses out there plan to retire in the next 10 years. Now, that's 81% of Australian small businesses. Now, you think about it, guys. With that amount of businesses coming onto the marketplace, do you think that it's going to be difficult to sell your business if you don't have all your ducks in a row? That's a very important stat. And then, out of all these businesses that are going to be coming onto the market, 75% of them have no exit strategy. So, Martin, tell me about exit strategy. Tell me about what's going on with businesses and how they can have a decent exit strategy. Do you see this problem yourself in America?
Oh, absolutely. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to get out of business one way or the other. You're going to die, you're going to sell the business is going to go broke, you're going to take the business public and put it on the stock market, somebody's going to take the business away from you. Somehow, at some point, everybody gets out of business. Why not start a business with the end in mind? When you start on a road trip, you know exactly where you're going. You don't just get in the car and start to drive across the country. You have a starting point, you have checkpoints along the way, and you have a destination end in mind. And so you know what kind of progress you're making, you know how much closer you're getting to your goal, and you know when you reach the goal. It's the same thing with your business. You've got to have some type of a strategy along the way. Why would you get in business and just run it until you die? You have an exit strategy so you can build this business up and then turn around and sell it. It's a marketable asset. Look, we had a business that was doing $12.4 million in 6.5 months. You can't get there unless you have some type of a goal, some type of a plan in mind from the beginning. And every business should be that way. Not that you make that much money. I mean, that was a real unusual kind of thing. But we knew exactly what we were doing, what we were looking for, and we set out to do that. Look, if you're going to put in 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours a day, whatever you're going to put in, why not get some type of a quantifiable result? If you're going to put the time in anyway, why would you settle for $40,000 a year when you could be making $1 million a year? See, why would you settle for a business that just gets you by versus a business that is a saleable asset when you're finished, and you can turn around and you made all the money along the way, but now you have something to sell at the end, and you can cash in and have a big payday at the end. So if you want to retire, you can retire and go do something, go fishing, or whatever you want to do. Or if you want to keep working, you can keep working. The choice, you see, a successful business gives you choices, gives you options, and that's really what you want. You don't want to be working for somebody or for yourself even forever. You want to be able to have the option to do whatever it is you want to do. And how do you get that? You get that by creating a successful business, and you have an end goal in mind, so that you know when you hit that goal, you can do whatever you want to do.
Mm. Yeah, well, mate, look, that's the magic pill, isn't it? And we just don't see enough of that. So, look, with the situation in the marketplace today, with technology changing and you got more sophisticated prospects and higher expectations out there, what's going on is that business owners don't know how to contend with the new world rhythms. The reality is that it is getting tougher. You have to spend twice as much out there to get half the result. Traditional marketing has not got the same sort of results that it used to have. And you've actually got to have some guidance. The business owner out there is so busy working on their business that they just don't get the time to learn the nuances of how you actually compete in this day and age. So it is critical for them to have the guidance on what's going on. So Martin, I would like you just to give us some thoughts there. It's so. You've seen this firsthand. I mean, you deal with the biggest companies. Do they seem to get the same sort of challenges as the small business owners with coping with this new age?
Well, of course, large companies, big companies, have some unique experiences or unique situations all their own because of the size of the business, the number of people, the number of committees you have to work through, and the stockholders and shareholders and that type of thing. But there are many businesses or many situations in both big businesses and small businesses that are similar. And so once you master those kinds of things, how to solve those kinds of problems, you can pretty much write your own ticket. It's such a simple process to work with a business once you understand how to do it, and you have a plan, a process that you can look at, and you can say, if I follow this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and I get a predictable, quantifiable result. If you don't have that kind of a process, you're shooting from the hip. And I'll tell you, there are so many consultants out there, that's exactly what they do. A business says, well, we need to have more customers. Well, if you line up 100 business owners and say, what would you like to have more of? 95 of those 100 business owners are going to say, we want more customers. Well, you know more customers are going to bring in more money, more top-line money, but that money may not trickle down to bottom-line profits. And why? Because the cost of generating the lead, the cost of closing that lead or converting that lead into a buying customer, the cost of delivering the product or service that you have may exceed the amount of money that you bring in. You've seen it before probably. A business runs an ad that costs them $1,000. They don't even make enough money in sales to pay for the ad. So it isn't necessarily that we want more customers. Maybe it's that we need to make more money off of each customer we have. What is the business really interested in? What do they really want? They want more profits. Profits is the only thing that matters. There are only two ways to grow a business. When I say grow a business, I'm talking about growing the profits of a business, because profits is all that matters. You can't spend anything but profits. Profits is what's left over after you pay all your expenses. Here's how you grow a business, grow the profits. Make more money or spend less money, or a combination of the two. If I keep my expenses the same and I make more money, that's profits. If I keep my revenue or my turnover the same and I reduce my expenses, that's profits. That's really what we're looking at. How can I increase profits? So you just got it on your slide right there. Technology changes. Customers are more educated, more sophisticated, more knowledgeable than ever before. Before a customer walks into a car dealership to buy a car or to even shop, they've already been online. They know what kind of car they want. They know what price range they want. They know what the cost is for the dealer. They know all the details. All they're there at the dealer for, the only reason they're at the dealer is because they're trying to get that dealer to pay to charge them what they already know that they can buy the car for. They've already done all the shopping. It's the same way with a lot of products. How many times have you ever been into a bookstore and you look around at the books and you walk out of there and go back and order it from Amazon? Because you know you can get it cheaper. You've already done the shopping. You've already looked at the books in the bookstore, but you didn't buy it at the bookstore. It's the same with all kinds of products. Customers are more sophisticated, more educated, more knowledgeable than ever before. They have higher expectations. And so you've got to find a way to generate the kind of expectancy that they're looking for. Look, your customers are like your spouse, Ian. If you don't tell Jennifer, you don't tell your wife that you love her once in a while, somebody's going to come along and tell her that, and you're going to lose her, and that's going to cost you a lot of money. Now, your customers are the same way. If you don't tell your customers that you like them, you appreciate them, you love them, you appreciate their business, somebody's going to come along and tell them that. They're going to leave you, and that's going to cost you a lot of money. They've got high expectations. When was the last time you got a thank you card from anybody, from any purchase you bought, you made? Whether it's a car, a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car, whether it's a home, whether it's a computer, it doesn't matter what it is. When was the last time you got a thank you note, a thank you card, a thank you email, a thank you whatever, a phone call? You don't get them anymore. Fact of the matter is things have changed, and you better change along with it. Most businesses have never done that. So your hard facts are right on right here. You've got to figure out, how can I deal with this, and how can I help other customers who don't understand all this deal with it effectively. And that's where a good consultant can come in, walk into a business, and start to tell them things that they don't even know, or maybe they do know, but they're just not doing. And you can walk out of there charging whatever you want to charge, and they'll gladly pay for it. Why? Because you're delivering transformation to that business. You're delivering increased income. You're delivering increased profits. You're giving them something that they can't get on their own. They don't know how to do it, or maybe they don't want to do it. It's just easier to not do it. But they're looking for someone to come along, take them by the hand, and lead them down this path and put money in their pocket. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So you're right on with what you're saying.
And by the way, I buy an awful lot of things, Martin, and no, I don't receive thank you cards from them, buddy, I tell you. So, mate, look, I think we've made the point. There is a massive need for good consultants, and quite honestly, we can't keep up. I mean, we've got the largest business and consulting school in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, and we can't keep up. I have to knock people back, Martin. I actually did a quick survey a while ago, and I typed into the Yellow Pages online, business consultants, and I also had a look at the Australian Bureau of Statistics, how many small businesses were there. Now the ABS said there were 1,960,000 small businesses in Australia. Now this was in 2009, mind you. Now this makes up 96% of all the businesses in Australia. So nearly 2 million businesses out there in Australia, small businesses. And when I looked in the Yellow Pages to see how many business consultants there were, that is business consultants, people that are focusing on business, only 1,956 listed. Now, guys, you know, my maths might be a little bit rough here, but this works out to approximately 1,000 businesses per consultant. I mean, what hope do we have to look after that many businesses? And to break it down even further, in the consulting world, if you've got 6 to 10 clients that you work with, you are flat out. You don't really want more than 6 to 10 clients, and that's an income of between $300,000 and $1 million, $300,000 to $1 million if you've got that many clients. So guys, you know, they need your help. If you're interested in helping people, if you love helping people, then this is an incredible industry to be involved in. It is an industry where you create income at will. You don't have to be a master salesperson to be able to help people, because quite honestly, the way we approach it, they ask you for help mostly. And you have a systematic way to transform their company. I mean, the system has been proven over and over and over again. So simplicity is the key. You need to just have a system. Now, I said to you earlier that for you to have a successful business, you need to be able to answer 3 simple questions before you look at any business opportunity or vocation. The first one is, well, how do I find a client? Do I have a reliable, predictable, affordable lead generation machine where people are going to be able to seek me out so that they'll inquire about how I can help them? Well, I'd like to just cover off on how we solve that. Now, you have a combination of 19 of the most powerful lead generation systems that we use. Now, each and every one have been tested, used, and applied by myself, and a combination of these are Street Smart and Martin Howie's own strategy. So this is how Martin Howie actually got clients from some of the top largest companies in the world. Would that be true, Martin? Out of these generation systems?
Yeah, we've used these exact same strategies to land some very important corporate clients.
So, you know, people may think, oh, gee, really? Would I really be able to get a prospect by utilizing these things? Now, you've seen our system now, Martin, and you've seen how comprehensive it is. Would you be able to put some thoughts on anyone that's having doubts about if they'd be able to find a client using the systems that we use?
Well, you know, it's how we had, our company had 2,800 consultants operating in 48 different countries. This is a very similar system to what we've taught. You've modified it some. We've modified ours some. But the exact same system or very similar system with a few modifications is exactly how our consultants have found their clients and how they continue. And it's how I find my clients as well. I still do some consulting, not as much as I used to, and I'm very selective about who I bring on as a client because I work with some very large companies. But it's the exact same systems that we use.
Yeah. So whether
understand this, Ian, let's go back on something. You said if you have just 6 clients, if you have 6 to 8 clients, that's what you can handle. So really, once you've got your marketing systems manual there, once you go through and you get 6 clients and you start to work with them and you start to produce results for them, one of the things we always do, we build it right into our agreement with them. If I can achieve a certain number, a certain benchmarks, a certain goal in business, if I can earn a certain amount for you or do a certain amount of things for you, would you then introduce us to 2 other businesses that you know could use our services? And of course they always say yes. So then once we've hit those benchmarks, we go back to them and say, listen, remember when we first talked and I said to you, if we could hit these benchmarks, would you be willing to introduce us to 2 other business owners who could genuinely use our products or services? And you agreed, yes. When would be a good time for us to sit down and brainstorm together who those businesses might be? Now, notice I didn't ask for a referral. If I were to say to you, who do you know that might benefit? You know what the standard answer to that is, right? Well, I don't know anybody right now. I can't think of anybody, but if I can, I'll let you know. And then the conversation dies. But
Yep.
we always shoot for when would be a good time for us to sit down and brainstorm together who those names might be. Now, what have I done? I haven't asked for a referral. I've asked for an appointment. And then we sit down and we have a whole process, just like you do, a whole process that we go through to start to get introductions. I don't want a referral. I want an introduction. So once you have your 6 to 8 clients, you know, that's all you need. You can throw the marketing system manual away. You don't need that because you're getting introductions from other people. Now, the marketing systems that you use to get clients for yourself, you use those same systems to teach your clients how to get business for themselves, how to find prospects for themselves. But as far as you're concerned about getting clients, you don't need that manual anymore. You just need it to help your clients find ways to get business. So it's a very effective process. You know, I've never seen anything as comprehensive and as effective as what you've got in your marketing systems manual.
Mm. Guys, look, the reality is it really, we test our own money at Street Smart. We try everything first before we share it with anyone so that we know that you get the results from them. So that's the leads. So you've got leads coming into the business. All the lead generation systems are created there for you. Then when that lead comes in and say, hey, listen, I'm interested, after you get over the initial shock and say, oh, really, you are? You answered my marketing? Yeah, what happens is we then have another system where you convert the client. It is, quite honestly, and Martin, you helped me create a lot of this process. This is one of the most powerful conversion processes on the planet. It is on average, with the advisors that I've trained, they're running at a 70% conversion rate with the people that they're seeing. Now, quite honestly, and this is not just a number out of my backside, I run at 90% conversion rate. I nearly get every client that I want to work with working with me. And in fact, I actually don't seek clients out these days because the reverse is there, where I have a line of people seeking me out. Now, that's how powerful this system is. We don't want you selling. What we want you to do is help a client. And so when they see that you can seriously create an amazing difference in their company, generally they say, could you please help me achieve this result? Now, is that true or true, Martin?
Well, it's absolutely true. And you know, the key is if you have an effective marketing process, then it eliminates or minimizes the need for a sales presentation. Why? Because you're attracting the right kinds of clients. The clients who have a need, who have the want to fix that need, who have the money to pay for it, who have the ability to make the marketing or the buying decision, who have that good reputation. Once you attract those kinds of people, it just eliminates the need for selling. All you have to do now is go through and explain, here's a few things that we're going to do to help your business achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And that's not selling, that's just explaining what you have. Understand that selling is helping. If you just take out the word sales or selling, say, I'm not selling anybody anything, I'm helping them solve a problem. And once you get that mindset, it becomes so easy. I hate selling. I used to teach selling all the time. I used to teach how to, you know, how to make a sales presentation, how to go through the whole process, how to overcome objections, anticipate the objections, build the objections into the presentation so you don't have to answer them later, and all that kind of stuff, how to do the close. I hate that. I just don't think there's any need for it. That's old school stuff. What do you want to do today? You want to solve a problem. And if you can find the right prospect, uncover what their needs are and their problems are, what are they trying to do, what are their goals, and then help them solve that problem. Show them exactly how you're going to solve the problem. Why wouldn't they buy from you?
Yeah,
it's simple.
That's very true, man.
It'd be silly for them not to take advantage of that.
It's amazing just how closely your thoughts are to mine. I stopped selling years ago, buddy. I just have a genuine interest in helping somebody have a better business life, and they see that, and then they say, could you please work with me? That's quite honestly how it is, guys. Now, I just want to share with you how we do create the incomes that we do create. I just want to give you a bit of a practical example. This is pretty well near true to life. Just a way for me to explain the leverage and the incredible income that we earn as consultants. So just imagine, understand you've got the world's most powerful lead generation systems. You've got a conversion system that converts at 70% for people that have hardly ever sold anything in their lives before. And then, so you've converted these clients, and you just get 6 clients that are paying you $3,000 a month. Now, these 6 clients that are paying you $3,000 a month that you work with, you put in about 4 hours a week with these clients in the initial stages. Now, when you're working with these clients, if you've got 6 of them, that's 24 hours a week. Now, that turns into $180,000 a year in income for you. Okay, that's just your retainer money that you earn when you're working with your clients. Now, if you can imagine that your clients have a turnover of around about $5 million each business, that means that they'd have a combined turnover of $30 million. And with a combined turnover of $30 million, if you're working with them, do you think it might be possible for you to help them achieve a 1% improvement per month in their business? I mean, really, how many retail stores have you gone to? Maybe furniture stores where you see staff that just don't care and they run 1,000,000 miles an hour when you walk into the store. How many times have you seen guys that when you come up to the counter, there's no process, that they never collect your details, that they never actually know how to talk to you, and how there's so many things lacking, how the front of the store probably has 6 months worth of dirt and grime on it, and they're wondering why nobody's coming into the business. How the poor business owner seems to be pulled in 1,000,000 directions because he's got no systems or processes. I know you've all seen these types of businesses. So what I'm saying is that we just say that we commit to a 1% improvement per month, fixing all of these little things bit by bit. Won't even go into the marketing yet, just the basic fundamental things in a business. Well, that's 12% improvement over a year. So if you got a 12% improvement over a year on $30 million, that's a $3.6 million increase in turnover on these businesses. Now, what we do is we teach you, see, when you work with a client, if you show them how you can add an extra, say, $1 million to their turnover in their business, they're more than happy to share a small proportion of that with you, because it's $1 million they never would have had without your assistance. So it's no risk to them. It's just simply, would you mind sharing part of a profit you never would have had if I didn't turn up on your front doorstep? So when you make this improvement in these businesses, and we're only talking 1% improvement per month, that works out to $3.6 million a year. And you get a 4% contingency on that. So 4% of any improvement in their business over and above where they were before. Well, that works out to $144,000, ladies and gentlemen, that 4% contingency. So you working 24 hours a week, you earn $180,000 as a retainer from them, and then you make an additional $144,000 as contingency for the good work that you've done. That works out to $324,000 a year, working 24 hours a week. And ladies and gentlemen, most of my clients I would work with maybe after the initial stages, I'd work with maybe an hour a week. That's the sort of clients, and they pay me about $5,000 a month for my time. The leverage is incredible. These numbers are not make-believe, and these are generated. These sorts of figures are generated by most of the advisors that I train. I'm very proud to say that. Most of my advisors, at least 75% of them, are earning 6-figure incomes, and I've only trained 28 advisors. Out of those 28, I've got 4 that are doing 7-figure income. So this gives you a bit of an idea of the power of the systems. Okay? So once again, just to put it into perspective, you've got 6 different businesses that you're working with. They're each doing $5 million in turnover. You improve their business just by 1% per month. You'll get a 4% contingency on that, which is an extra $144,000 in passive income. So you actually technically have a stake in their business. So they're working for you now, and you have this nice passive income coming in. It's just beautiful, guys. Now, here's the question that may be playing on many of your minds, and that is, okay, well, I get that I've got some of the best marketing on the planet to get a lead coming in. I get that you've got a very powerful sales conversion system that'll turn them into a client for me. But man, how can I get exponential growth? I'm not a Martin Howie. I'm not an Ian Marsh. I don't know how to really get massive growth for a company. I think that's a perfectly logical question to ask, wouldn't you, Martin?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I just want to come to that question here, and I want to answer this. Now, if you can follow directions and just implement the things that we ask you to do, you can create miracles for your clients. What we do is we provide, I'm going to show you the power of the software in a second that we utilize. We have the most powerful software, the most powerful systematic consulting process that you have ever seen in your life. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I'm going to share with you. You can make your own mind up on this information because you'll get the chance to see it. But I'm going to give you a bit of a glimpse here of how you can achieve amazing results for your clients. Now, Daisy, I want you to keep an eye on this for me just in case the technology beats me. But can you see this screen now? Can you see the business health check come up on the screen, Daisy? Yeah, watch my back here. Martin, can you see this business health check?
Yes, I see it.
All right, so guys, I just want to take you through a very, very basic process. Understand that when you're looking at a business, they generally have 4 categories that you fall into where they want to improve things. One might be the strategies, profits, and budgets that they want to achieve in their business. Another might be they want to structure their business ready for sale. They have exit strategies and systemize the company. Maybe they want to improve their staff and how their staff are relating to their clients and performing and being held accountable. Or maybe they just want systems and growth in their company so they can systemize things. So they generally fall into one of these 4 categories, and most of them really want profits. That's what a lot of them really like to see. So I'm going to just show you an example of how systematic it is for you to be able to determine the holes in a business and then be able to diagnose and prescribe the solutions for them. I think you're going to get a very good indication in a second. So just here, what we do is we just have a checklist for just about anything in a business. We have comprehensive checklists for everything. And let's just start a simple diagnostic on business growth and how their business is structured. So we've got here many questions. This checklist, this one checklist, has got 84 different questions on it, and there's a different checklist for different situations in any business. But let's just say that you're talking to a client right now and you're having your first consult with them. You're having a cup of coffee and you're saying, okay, well, let's just analyze how you're traveling at the moment, just so I can get a good idea of how you're running your business. How would you rate your follow-up of your sales leads at the moment in your business? So you've got a very effective system for doing follow-up with your business. Just tell me anywhere between very poor, poor, average, and by the way, guys, most people will say poor. And how would you rate the professionalism? How are you running your business, and how are your staff looking and talking to clients, and what is the communication systems? Would you say you're very professional, or would you say that you're very poor? Okay, very poor. Now, let's talk about how you're dealing with customers and customer service. Do you have a strong customer service process? And do you know that your clients are happy with the services that you're providing for them? Oh, okay, so you rate yourself good there. Do you do regular planned promotions in your business? Well, no, you don't. Oh, don't worry, because most other businesses don't do regular planned promotions either. Have you ever asked your customers what they want from you, what their needs are, so that you can then customize your services for them? You haven't? Oh, okay, well, once again, don't be too concerned. What about the success of your past promotions? How have they been? Pretty poor? Okay, not a problem. And prospecting. So do you do regular prospecting for your customers? Do you know your conversion rate, your appointment to close sale rate in your business? Do you track that at all? By the way, guys, maybe 2 out of 100 track that figure. You get the idea. So there are checklists for everything, and it'll report on them and it'll diagnose. And what will happen is after you ask these questions, you're going to get ratings on how things are going. So their marketing performance, their advertising performance, their financial analysis, their people management, all of these things are analysed with a very comprehensive checklist. And what it does is it then creates an incredible report for you, which is really the A to Z of how you work with your client. So it'll build a report like this that you can see right here, telling you the things that you can be doing with the client, telling you step by step, well, okay, they're not doing much with customer service right now. Here's some strategies you can utilize to make sure you can improve your customer service. Okay, so guys, you get the idea. I hope you're as impressed as I am with this, because there's no software on the planet I've seen that comes anywhere near it. Martin, I'm sure you haven't even seen this. I'm very proud of this software. I'd love to say it was my own, but I'm in a joint venture with a very dear friend of mine. But the results, it's really the knowledge that you've taught me, and also the mechanical process. I'm still a devotee of our systematic consulting process, but literally we've brought our processes into this software, and it's just a checklist process to get to the end goal. Do you like what you see there, mate?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We don't have this ourselves. We've been successful without it, but I can see so many advantages to what you have. And if nothing else, I mean, I understand that it delivers great value, but if nothing else, it just positions you as somebody who's really professional, somebody who's in business. The more professional your marketing pieces are, or your diagnostic pieces are, the more it looks like you're a class act, and this really sets you apart.
Oh, well, thank you, Martin. I was hoping you'd like this. It really does make it a paint-by-numbers process. So, guys, look, I put this this comic in. Why? Well, I just liked it. I mean, those of you that are in business, how well do you relate to this? I mean, you know, you go, oh my God, I've got to pay the wages on Friday. Where do I get money from? And so you put your head down, your backside up, and you pull money out of somewhere and get very productive and very creative. And the reality is that when you put this in front of a prospect, when you show them what's capable for them to achieve with their business, you'll be amazed at how productive they get, because they get excited and passionate again about their business and what they can achieve. I guess we rekindle their dreams. So, guys, look, you might be wondering what this life is like, who it's right for. Is consulting the life that you might be interested in? Could you do it? Do you have the abilities? Well, look, I believe that anyone that's got past or present business or management experience can easily do this. I believe that any business owner that wants to apply these principles to their own company, it's a walk in the park. And anyone that really wants to achieve financial freedom and a lucrative income for themselves, and they're passionate about helping other people, I really want to have a talk to you. Now, we don't accept everybody. You actually have to apply for this, and I'll talk about that in a little while. But really, if you've got just a certain skill set, if you feel that this is appealing to you in any way, I would urge you to find out more, because it is an incredible life. And here's how we give you the knowledge that I have and that Martin has. This is how I train you. I've never seen anything more comprehensive. Martin, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know this is the first time you've seen this as well. But I'm going to be doing an advisor training from the 2nd of August to the 5th of August at the Crown Plaza. That's on the Gold Coast. Now, the reality is, over those 4 days, I'm going to be teaching you the core systems that you're going to be able to take away with you, and you're going to be able to go out and you're going to be able to help other businesses achieve incredible results in their companies. Now, the world record currently at the moment is 5 days from when I finished the training to when someone had a paying client. Martin, what's your world record? What's been the fastest that someone's had a paying client with you after you've trained them?
Well, what we do is, in our business, it's just a little bit different. When they come to training, I encourage them to bring a client with them. Not physically, but we encourage them to bring a client with them. Somebody that they, maybe it's their sister-in-law's hair salon. They go to them and say, hey, sis, you know, I'm going to go back and meet with some consultants, and I need to have a business to work with as a case study. Can I use your business? Don't pay me anything. You know, if I create something for you, would you just give me 10% of whatever I generate for you? that way you get 90% of something you didn't have. And so when they come back to our training, then they look at our training on two different levels. Number one is, how does this work for your business? And number two, how does this work for your client's business? So many times they'll have a paying client, or at least they'll have a client that when they go back home, they can apply. They've already done all the work, and they just start to go back and implement that, and they have money coming in that first week. So yeah, that's how we encourage them to do that, and it's just a little bit different, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well.
and we work with them. We send them a few things up front to help them learn what kind of clients to find, and some questions to ask and that type of thing. But no, it's what you've got here. If you can get a client in 5 days, that's really good. Because here's the deal. If you get a client and you're charging what you're talking about, charging the client and producing the kind of results for them, you can pay for your tuition in this thing very, very quickly. And that's a key. You're looking for two things. Number one, how can I get that money back in your bank account as quickly as possible? That's our goal. How can I put that money back in your bank account so you're not out any money? The second thing is, how can I get you up to a six-figure income, $100,000 plus, in the first 60 to 90 days? That's really what we're looking for. If I put that money back in your account and generate $100,000 for you in the first 60 to 90 days, or 90 to 120 days, or whatever the goal you have, that's really what it's all about. And that's exactly what you do. If you can generate a client in 5 days, and you get one client, you start to work with them, it's just a matter of time. You're going to get another one and another one and another one, and you're off and running. So yeah, it works.
Yeah. Well, and look, that is the reality. The highest record is 5 days. The next record is 7 days. That was the next fastest record that we got. Now, after you do the 4 days of training, you have the ability to put all this knowledge into action and get a client. But see, this is where we're different to many other organizations. I want you to be world-class business consultants. Now, you're going to have a lot of the knowledge. You're going to have a lot of the skills that you require. Everything you will need to be able to help other business owners and go out there and start this new career. But I want to continually improve your skill set. And we are unique in the situation that I own a business school. I get our advisors to come in. We do an additional, depending on the level of training that you want from us, an additional 18 to 24 days of training with you over the 2-year program. Now, guys, get an understanding of this. This is 280 hours or 35 extra days. This is 35 days of training. Imagine how your skill sets are going to be after that level of immersion in our environment. So I do everything I can to help you become as successful as you can be. We give you our complete resource library, stunning software. You've seen a glimpse of it today. And we've created 2 levels. We've created an advisor level and a certified advisor level. Now, in the advisor level, here's what you get. So you get the 4-day intensive training. So this is where you come to the Crown Plaza, 4 days. We'll lock you in a room, pretty well about 10 hours a day. We go through all the processes, all the systems, and you will have a prospect with you as well, much like Martin does, where we're going to be using them as a case study. And I'll be teaching you our systems, our systematic process. You got a glimpse of just how ABC 1, 2, 3 this is. The software I just showed you a little while ago. Now that 4-day intensive, I've valued that at $20,000. Why? Well, because people are knocking at my door right now saying, please work with me, please do a consult with me, I'll pay you $5,000 a day for the consult. So that's why I value it at that rate. It's not a made-up number. We give you our resource library. Now, Street Smart Marketing, Street Smart Business School are renowned to be some of the best marketers in the Southern Hemisphere. We've created an incredible reputation that we're very proud of. We give you our resources, our manuals, our copywriting training, etc. We give you our lead generation systems that you saw glimpses of. Now, I valued this at $25,000, but Martin, now one client consulting client, the lifetime value of that client, can you put a figure on that in your opinion? Let's not, we're not just talking your Fortune 500s here, just a normal sort of small to medium sized business. What would you say the value of one client would be to a consultant?
Well, if you mentioned you're charging $5,000 per month, that's $60,000 right there. That's just your retainer. That's not even your contingency fee. But if you charge $3,000 a month, that's still $36,000. And that's exclusive of your contingency fee. So when you add that on there, you should be someplace around anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 per client per year. Now you think, well, how long are you going to keep that client? Well, if you're generating, let's just say you took $5,000 a month, or let's just go down to $3,000 just to make it easy. $3,000, that's $36,000, and you took 10% of everything you generated for them over a baseline, over a pre-existing baseline. So you set it up with your client and say, here's what you're doing right now. Anything we do over and above that, I want 10% of. Well, if you're getting 10%, that means they're getting 90% of something that they wouldn't have if it weren't for you. Why in the world would they ever want to cut you free? You become, like you mentioned earlier, you become a partner of sorts in that business. So, I mean, if you're looking at anywhere from $60,000 or $50,000 to $100,000, and you keep these people for just 5 years, figure that out. I mean, it's a lot of money. So your figure here of $25,000 is like way low.
Yeah. I just wanted the listeners to get a bit of a perspective of the real value, because they don't understand yet the power of what this information is. So that's just one client, guys. One client, a lifetime value is a minimum $100,000 to you. The conversion system. So we show you how you achieve a 70% conversion rate when you're going and seeing your prospects. Now, what is that worth to you? It's huge. Then you've also got the competitive intelligence report. This is a core part of our sales process. I've put a value of $5,000 on this. When you see it, you will understand why. So I don't like these people that just pull numbers out of thin air. All of these numbers, these are retail numbers. These are what I get every day of the week. These are genuine value numbers. Now, you also get our Street Smart resources. You'll get our software. Now, bear in mind, this is the advisor level. So you get the Business Growth Calculator software in the Business Advisor level. That's valued at $5,000. You'll get the results system. So this is where we give you all of the strategy so that you can improve a business. So if they need more leads, we're going to show you 100 ways to get different leads coming into a business. If they're lousy on conversion, they're not getting sales, well, we've got 63 different ways to boost the conversion rates for them. I mean, when they've got a problem, trust me, we have a solution, and that's why we call it the result system. So I valued that at $12,000. The blueprint, this is what you put up on your wall, and it literally is, just like you saw that software that I showed you a little while ago, this blueprint is about a 12-step process that you follow, and by the time you get to point 12, you've got the whole program there. So it's just, once again, a paint-by-numbers process. I do webinars with you continuously, guys. It's probably nearly every 2 or 3 weeks that I'm doing training and webinars with you, because I really want to know what's going on and how I can help you. We give you substantial discounts on our Street Smart products. You also get membership to Business Mastery. Now, this is where this is why we're pretty well the largest school in Australia. Nearly every month, except when business school is on, I go around and teach the implementation of all the ideas and strategies of what's necessary to build a successful business. Not a job, not somebody that thinks they've got a business, but they're trapped in their business. I mean, we show you how to create a business. So that's where I come in, and for half a day, once a month, generally there's around about 70 business owners in each room. You're part of this. I'll show you, how do you baseline your business? So how do you actually measure all the leads coming in? What's some strategies so that you actually can track your conversion rates? How do you know that your staff are performing for you and they really are fully engaged with your company? I mean, these are the sort of things that you only learn when you're street smart, when you've gone through the ropes, and I teach you all of those things. Street Smart Business School, we just finished it today. So we just had Street Smart Business School on the Gold Coast, fantastic 3 days. We just had, to give you an idea, my guest presenter, he's actually now heading up our digital division at Street Smart Business School, is Alex Mendosian. He's generated over $400 million online for himself and for his clients. He turned his annual income into his daily income, ladies and gentlemen. So you get a bit of an idea of the quality of people. I've had Gina Reinhardt speak on our stage. We've had Rodney Adler, whether you love him, whether you hate him. You know, we just have I try to seek out the very best masters so they can share their knowledge, and we give you cutting edge knowledge so that you can stay ahead of the competitors and then give the best advice to your clients. You also get attendance at any of our unique training that we do. Now that's all valued at $159,546, guys. It's just a genuine value. If you paid for all these things individually, that's what you'd be paying for. Now, in the certified level, you get everything that you get in the advisor level. However, there are some additional things. So you get the intensive training, the resource library, the lead generation acquisition system, the conversion system, the weapon, the Street Smart manuals and copy, our business growth calculator, our results system, our blueprint, the webinars. Again, you get everything that the advisor level gets, but then on top of that, this is for people that really want to hit the road running and really want to get maximum impact as fast as they can. You also receive a mini MBA. Now, when I say receive it, it's like you going to uni. This is not something out of a cornflakes packet. We are an RTO, Registered Training Organisation. We work with you to achieve your mini MBA. So you'll receive a diploma in frontline management, majoring in entrepreneurship. Okay, so that's the MBA that you work towards so that you can still stay on top of your game, because guys, you owe it to your clients. I still get up every morning and study for at least an hour or two so that I can have hand on heart and say, yes, I'm as good as I can possibly be. And I want everyone that's involved in this, that's serious about their success, to have the same sort of commitment. You also get, in the certified advisor level, 6 additional days of training with me. So when you come to business school 3 times a year, the day before business school starts, you'll get constant upskilling. I mean, last Monday when I had our advisors in the room, I gave you a whole day. I got one of the best copywriters in the world. His name is Steve Plummer. He's our personal copywriter for Street Smart. He's made millions upon millions of dollars for us with the powerful copy that he writes. So for a whole day, he taught our advisors how to write the perfect ads, how to create the best headlines, how to do Google AdWords so you get the ads right, how to do some Facebook ads so that you get those compelling words on paper. We teach you sales skills, how you communicate with people and solve their problems. I teach you online marketing so that you understand how to dominate online. Understand, guys, I've built a number of websites, each of them doing millions upon millions of dollars. These are my own websites. And then I've created other websites for other people, many of them doing millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. So, you know, we only have people that know what they're talking about sharing their knowledge with you. Now, once again, I put a value at $30,000 on that because people ask me, quite honestly, they beg me to work with them and consult with them at $5,000 a day. We create a website for you. Now, we want you to be working on this website as well because we want you to understand the key components that are necessary for a successful website. But we create a website for you so you can hit the ground running. That's valued at $6,000. Plus, we're going to design your stationery with you. We need you to get some pretty cool photos, but we're going to put your stationery together for you, create business cards that are effective business cards, email signatures, etc. But more importantly, we're going to give you the rights to a book. It's called Customers for Life. It's one of the most powerful books. Geez, it's a good read. I'm very proud of it. But I'm going to give you the white label rights to this book. You can put your own photo on there. You can call it whatever you want. I would love you to put your own personal experiences because each and every one of you on this call have had your own life experiences. And I encourage you all to put those stories into the book and make it your own. But when you hand a book to someone, it instantly catapults you to the top 5% of people that are being recognized as a professional and an expert in their industry. I cannot stress the power of a book. Now, Martin, you've written a large number of books. How many books have you written?
I have 29 books now. 8 of them are on Amazon. In the next couple of weeks, I'll have 2 more on Amazon. I'm just rewriting some of them. That's why they're not on Amazon now. I'm in the process of rewriting and updating them. Some of them are a little bit older, so I want to make sure that they're up to date. But yeah, I've got 29 books, not counting all the courses and audio and video programs and things that I've recorded for myself and for my clients. But yeah, a book can really set you apart. Look, if you walk into a business owner and you put a business card on the table, and I walk in and I put a book down, I automatically have an advantage because I must know something. I'm the guy who wrote the book, and all you have is a business card. Now, you may be 100 times better consultant than I am, but you don't stand a chance because I have the book. So therefore, just by default, I must know something. I'm the guy who wrote the book. Now, if you walk in with a book and a report and a CD and a bunch of other things, you'll really take a commanding position in that business owner's mind. And that's one way you can just dominate your market and get all the customers you want very, very effectively.
Right, yeah. It really has so much power. And guys, you will learn the power of positioning. It is critical for you to be perceived as the expert and the authority, not an ambulance chaser knocking on someone's door like most business consultants do and say, hey, listen, I'm a really, really good business consultant. I'll triple your business for you. Martin, I've got to tell you, I saw a funny thing the other day. I was driving along in Perth. Yes, I'm still trapped in Perth, the most remote city in the world. And I was driving along in Perth, and I saw a sign on cardboard scribbled with a pen, taped onto a signpost in a side street saying, business consultant, call 041, had their cell number there if you need help, on a piece of cardboard on a signpost. Can you believe that? I mean, man, what sort of business and what sort of thought processes are going through someone's mind to ring a guy from a piece of cardboard on a signpost? I just shook my head, mate. Have you ever seen anything so strange?
No, I never have.
How could they possibly command the sort of retainers that we get, which is just second nature, when you position yourself in that sort of manner, saying, look, please ring me, I can't afford decent marketing, please give me a call. It was just one for the books. I should have taken a photo and sent it to you. Now, this is valued at $13,000, guys. Understand, this is a ready-made written book that is all your own. You have complete rights to it. You can do whatever you want with it, and it's a very, very powerful positioning tool for you. Now, as a certified advisor, you also get access to this software that I showed you, this advanced software, where it just is a step-by-step process. If you want to structure a business ready for sale, just go to the exit and strategy division. If you want to get more profits for a business, you go to the profits and budget section. If people have got problem with their staff, and they need better people skills, you go to the people thing. You got the idea. If you want to systemize an organization, you go to the systems growth area, and it just has a step-by-step process to put things in place to fix all of those things. And it'll give you this incredible report that tells you what to do with each different area that you're looking at, Now, the certified advisors also get to work with our clients, because understand, I am being slightly selfish here. I don't go out there. My intention is not to have, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of consultants out there working away, and me trying to make millions of dollars out of creating lots of consultants. My main core goal is to have good people that are passionate about helping other individuals, other business owners out there. And for you to work with our clients and to coach our clients, because we have a large business school and we have clients that need you to help them. And I pay you very handsomely. I mean, it's minimal compared to what you earn when you have your own private clients. But I actually pay $100 an hour, Martin, to the advisors that work with our clients. Even you wouldn't snicker at that sort of a remuneration. The reality is, this is like an internship where I hold you by the hand. You consult with our clients, and I keep a very close eye on what you're doing with them, and I can see what you're doing because we have special software to monitor their progress. But you then earn while you learn. So as I said, I mean, Martin and I, we wouldn't roll out of bed really for that sort of money, but when you're starting off, it's a great way for you to build confidence, because that's the real challenge that I have with my new consultants. It's just, you'll have all the knowledge, you'll have all the systems, you have all the processes, and I just want to give you the confidence so that you actually realize when you get your first client, then you start achieving 20 and 30% growth for them, and you see the results in their company. I tell you what, you're like floating on cloud nine. I just see it time and time again. It's just great for me to help you get that confidence boost so you then get out there and get started for yourself. Now, very important point, guys. This is a privilege, but it is not a right. See, my number one priority is to look after my clients. So if you think that you know more than I do, if you think you don't need to follow the systems that I lay down, then don't expect me to give you a client, and do expect me to take a client off you immediately as soon as I find that you're not following our systems, because I do know how to get incredible results for clients. You may know something I don't, but I need you to follow my system. So I need to make that very clear. I am not guaranteeing a client to you, because I need to make sure you're going to look after our clients. But I hope you understand that clause. They're paying me money to help them get results, and I need the advisors to follow our systems. I'm not God. I can't tell you I know everything, but I can tell you that our systems work. So what do I get in a certified level? Once again, you get, these are the additional benefits. The mini MBA, that's $12,000. The additional training is $30,000. The advisor website is $6,000. The positioning stationery and the book. Becoming a published author. And also the world's most advanced business consulting software. Now, I buy the software for you guys, and by the way, I don't make money on the software. This comes straight out of my pocket, but I believe it's so powerful for you. I actually pay for it so I can make you a better consultant, make your job a lot easier. But then it goes onto a subscription process, and I'm just here to tell you the fact. It's not a lot of money. It's about $1,000 to renew it each year. I'm going to pay for the first year subscription for you. I'm going to pay for the actual software for you. But then if you love the software, you keep using it after year one. So that's all included for you. So the genuine value of all of these benefits is $234,546, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm very proud of the results that we've got. And as I said to you, 75, in fact, probably nearly 80% of my advisors are successful. Why is everyone not successful? Well, look, try as hard as I might, there are some people that you just can't help in this world. And if I told you that everyone was 100% successful, well, I'd be a liar, because there's nobody out there that I think can achieve 100%. But Martin, I'm very proud of that rate. I don't think I've said that to you before. What do you think of that as a success rate for the people I've trained?
That blows everything out of the water. You really have really done the job here.
Mm. So, guys, I just want to give you a rundown again. This is a comparison. So you've got the two levels, the advisor level here. So you've got the 4-day intensive, the resource library, the acquisition system, the conversion weapon, which is the intelligence report, the Street Smart manuals, the software, which is the growth calculator, the results system, the blueprint, my webinars I do with you continuously, our business mastery and our business school. That's $159,000. But then for the certified advisors, you also do a mini MBA, government recognized. You do additional 1-day training with me every 4 months. You get a website created for you. I create your positioning stationery for you. We give you the rights to your own book, so you're immediately recognized as an expert and authority in your field. You get the advanced software that I've shown you, and I pay for the software, the core software, and 12-month subscription for you. And as long as you do the things that I ask you to do, guys, this is very important, I'll give you clients. I actually need good consultants, so I will hand clients to you. But you must follow the things that I ask you to follow. You don't follow my processes, I will take that client off you quicker than you can blink your eyes, because my number 1 priority and responsibility is to my clients. Okay, so total value for the certified advisors, $234,546. So the investment for this, you're probably wondering what it is. Well, the two levels here, it's $25,000 for the advisor level and it's $50,000 for the certified advisor level. Now, we want you to get your money back on this as quickly as you can. You've already heard me say that the fastest is 5 days, the next is 7 days, but let's just be conservative. Is there any reason, Martin, why anyone that's committed, you've seen a lot of the systems and the processes that I've put together, and a lot of them I've gotten from you and you've allowed me to utilize, but in your opinion, when someone follows the systems and the processes that we ask them to follow, and bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Martin deals with the largest corporations in the world, and I'm not asking any favours here. What do you think would be a reasonable time frame for them to have a full dance card?
Well, our goal is that we do, and yours is not that much different. Our goal is to try to get this money back in their pocket as soon as possible. So, and then try to get to that $100,000 level minimum of 6 figures in the first 90 to 120 days. That's really what our goal is, and there's no reason why somebody can't do that if they'll work the system. See, the system won't work by itself. You've got to work the system, and if you're willing to do that, there's no reason why you can't get this money back. You can't make this kind of money in the first. If you're looking at the $50,000 level, you should have that back in the first 60 to 90 days without too much trouble. Look, if you went out and got, let's just say you're charging, you mentioned $5,000 a month. So if you charge $5,000 a month, and you got one client in 10 months, you'd have this paid for, which is one client, not counting the contingency fee. Well, if you got 2 clients, you could have it paid back in 5 months. If you got 4 clients, you could have it paid back in 2.5 months, not counting your contingency fee. So you see, that's why I say it's so simple. You can have this back in your pocket and then some in the first 60 to 90 to 120 days.
Now, I just want to make a comparison and go back to the example I had earlier on in the training that I was doing here. Now, you bought a McDonald's, you pay $1.5 million. It's going to take you at least 3 to 5 years to start to pay that McDonald's back, that $1.5 million you invest. Some of you may think, oh my goodness, $50,000? Quite honestly, guys, it is too low. I mean, where can you get a business that's ready to go, where you can generate 6 and 7 figure incomes, where you've got no staff, no overheads, all you need is your knowledge and a passion to help people, and then you can go out and earn incredible money and not have to work 70 or 80 hours and get passive income coming in for yourself. So McDonald's, $1.5 million, advisors, $50,000. I don't know about you, but it seems like a pretty good deal. I mean, who else senses the simplicity of this system? It's proven, and who gets an idea of how fast it can work in your business? But more importantly than that, I want to make sure that we have the right people in the program. So, if it's not right for you, I don't want you in the program, and I don't want your money, because it's important for us to have the right team around us. So what we do is we invite you all to come to the training on the first day. You get to see all the resources, all of the consulting processes, all of the marketing. I train you for a whole day on marketing. You'll, in fact, get all of my marketing knowledge and how I actually attract a client. I'll train you intensively on the first day of this training. Now, if you are not absolutely amazed, and if you don't think that this is the best investment you could have made with your money, then simply let me know at the end of the first day, and I'll EFT your money straight back to you the very next day. Hand on heart, I don't need your money. What I want to do is help you and get you to help other people. So I want you to go right through everything we have with a fine-tooth comb, experience a whole day of training with me, get a sense of if this is the right vocation for you or not, and then after that first day, simply let me know if it's not right for you, and I'll send you the money back. Now, it has happened to me once, Martin. You might get a bit of a laugh out of this, but I have had one person that I had to give their money back to, and the situation was this. Now, he was loving everything that I was teaching him at the training, but about 3/4 of the way through the day, he got a phone call, and he actually made the mistake of answering it in the room. And guys, I can tell you, every person in the room could hear the voice on the other end of that phone. It was the guy's wife, and he neglected to tell his wife that he'd invested in the program. And his wife was going off like a firecracker. How dare you take that money out of our account without asking? What do you think this is? What do you? And we're all hearing it and shaking our heads. And says, "You put that money back in, or I tell you I'm leaving." And he says, "Yes, he is." He hung up the phone and he looked at me sheepishly. He said, "Did you get that?" And so he ended at the end of the day. That's the only guy that I've ever given his money back. He didn't want me to. He really wanted to do the training, but he had the choice between the wife or the knowledge, and he chose the wife. So I don't know if you made the right decision, guys, but that's his world. So that's the only time I've ever had to give the money back, because it is so powerful. But I want you to go through everything on the first day and really know that you're going to love this world that we're in. This guy here, his name's Glenn Twiddle. Now, I'm not going to play the video because it doesn't come across too well over the webinars, but before he did the advisor training, he was struggling to get some dollars together. He was in the real estate business, coaching a few real estate agents, struggling. The video actually says, "Please don't tell anyone about this knowledge because I don't want the competition." He now has the largest real estate coaching group in Australia. He works with Glenn McGrath, and he has literally every real estate agent you can think of knows about Glenn Twiddle. The reason he's got this large coaching group is because of the knowledge that I shared with him in the advisor training. He was actually in the first advisor training that I ever held. Top guy. And anyone in real estate, you should seek out his knowledge. Now, guys, this world, it will provide the money that you look for if you follow what we ask you to do. You will get the freedom and the lifestyle, and you can get to work wherever you want and have the sort of things you want if you work the system and you don't think that you know better than I do. This gentleman here, once again, I won't play this video, but this is another man that I might have to put up in the level of the highest integrity. Martin, I don't think I've told you this story, but you're going to love it. Now, Scott came to us. I won't tell you how much. It wouldn't be right, but he came to us severely in the red. We're talking huge numbers in red as a builder. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because he got up on our stage at business school and told everybody. Now, after he did the advisor training, not only did he become the largest, most successful builder in Rockhampton, he also attributes $23 million cash in the bank to the knowledge that he gained from me and from the advisor training from the Street Smart environment. Now, I'm very proud of that, but it gets one better, Martin. This guy, Scott, he's actually personal friends with John Howard and Tony Abbott, but this gentleman, I told him your story, Martin, about how you got your whole extended family, how you took them all to Disney World, and how you gave them the time of their lives. And you know what? He said, "That's a wonderful thing." And next thing you know, he rings me up and says, "Ian, you know that story you told me when I was in trouble about Martin and what he did with his family? Well, I just want to let you know that I took my whole extended family and I took them to Vanuatu, and they had the time of their lives on the island of Vanuatu. And I just wanted you to let Martin know that it was the best thing I could have done." So I thought you might like to know that paying it forward, Martin. You've started a tradition here, and this gentleman here, he's just second to none. I love him to death. So that's Scott Kilpatrick and how he's used the knowledge. Now, mind you, he's used this knowledge in his own business, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a business owner and you want to achieve exponential growth in your own business, wouldn't you love to look at it from a consultant's perspective into your business? That's how he managed to use the knowledge and create those results in his business. Once again, Dean McCain, this is a video as well. He's explaining how he went from $40,000 a month in his patio business to $240,000 a month because I worked with him and we created a decent online presence for him. But then on top of that, he used the knowledge from the advisor training. He's now the most sought-after patio company in the whole of Perth. He's booked out probably 4 to 6 months in advance. He's highly sought after. He's got the highest quality patios in the whole of WA. But what he does, his business now runs itself, and he goes and looks for salons in distress, Martin. Businesses that are they're just trying to survive despite their owners' best efforts, and the owners have put like hundreds of thousands of dollars into these salons. He goes and picks them up for a song because they just need an escape clause. He then builds them up and he sells them for a fortune, and that's what he does. That's how he's used this knowledge that I've taught him. So that's Dean McCain. Just to give you a bit of an idea of how different people are using this information, guys. Now, my computer's thinking for a bit. It's saying, hello, what am I meant to be doing? So bear with me for a second. Come on. Can you still hear me okay, Martin?
Yes, I could hear you fine. I could just see the little icon spinning there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry for me because it's a precursor to my computer crashing. So no pressure. But anyway, I am hoping that we won't lose everybody in a second and they can stay in contact with us. So cross your fingers, Martin, and let's see, because I can't go to the next slide just yet. But I'm hoping that we will get to the finishing line on this. So, are you still with me, Martin?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so the screen is doing some funny things, but I think we might be able to get to the end on this. Okay, so you're finding these stories interesting, Martin? I hope you are, because I'm very proud.
Yeah, they're very interesting, very inspiring, because they're real-world people who are solving real-world problems, some for their own clients and some for themselves.
Yeah. It was actually the PowerPoint that just crashed then, which was interesting.
There we go. Sure, it's coming back now.
Yep. Okay. So you can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So where did we get up to? Dean McCain. Okay. So now here we go. Guys, here's the reality. We've already filled up half the room with people that have successfully applied to become consultants. I want to ask you if what I've talked about tonight resonates with you and you like the idea of, number one, I want to stress helping business owners have better business lives, and then number two, creating an incredible income for yourself by helping other people. Then I want you to apply for the expression of interest. I want you to fill out a simple form that we have that's going to be asking a few questions. And when you fill that form out, I'm going to be having a conversation with you. And we're going to discuss if this is the right transition, if this is the right career for you. There'll be a few key questions that I'm looking for to see if you qualify. But I can assure you, if you do qualify, the world we live in is an incredible one, and you will never look back on it. So if you click on the button on the page, then you can apply for me to have a chat to you in the next day or two, and we can learn a little bit about each other and see if we're a good fit. I do want you to know that my guarantees are ironclad. Quite honestly, if you use our system and use it as I described for you to use it for 2 years, which is the length of the program, you don't generate at least twice the amount of money that you've invested in our system, I'll refund every cent to you that you've done in the actual training. But don't think that I'm foolish, guys. I'm a very smart business owner. I'll need to see where you've implemented the strategies and that you have applied the things that I've asked you to apply. Because quite frankly, if you do apply it, even a fraction of what I teach you, you are going to generate a 6- or 7-figure income in an incredibly short period of time. So I do want you to press the button that says yes. I'd like to talk to Ian about my interest in the Street Smart Business Advisor program. And what I'd also love to do, here's your chance, guys, to ask any question of either Martin or myself. There's a question box on the screen, and you can type any question in there, and if I can use my technology correctly, I will then answer them to the best of my ability. So guys, click the button if you'd like to apply to become a business consultant, if you think this is the right career for you. But also, if you've got any questions at all, type them into the box now, and Martin and I will answer them to the best of our abilities for you. Okay, so I'm just looking here now, And we'll just give them a bit of time to type in the questions, Martin. So let me see what I've got here. Okay, so no one's put any questions in here as yet, but if you do have any questions, guys, it's pretty straightforward to see the question box on there. Feel free to ask anything that you have on your mind, guys. All right, Martin, just while we're waiting, we'll give them a couple of minutes. I don't know if we have any questions or if we've done an incredibly great job of explaining this process to them. Yeah, please, are there anything that you'd like to share with
well, you and I haven't talked about this, but first of all, you did a phenomenal job today, and I really appreciate it. We haven't discussed this at all, but for anybody who joins your program, I'll be happy to do 2 additional webinar trainings for them. A Q&A, once you get into business, you're in there for 30 days, and you've tried some things out, you got some questions, and you want to maybe talk to somebody about it. You and I can hold another Q&A call, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, give you some additional insights and things. But I just want you to be out there for 30 days and try a few things, and then once you're out there for 90 days, we'll do the same thing again. So that way you have a little bit of experience behind you. You kind of know what questions to ask, and we'll give you some additional training. Now, I'm sticking my neck out there, and I'm hoping this is okay with you. But I didn't approve this with you before, but it's just I believe in your system so much, and I've seen what it's done for our folks, and the kinds of money that these folks are making, and the kind of impact that they're having in the lives of other people, business owners. And listen, when you work with a business owner, you're not only helping that business owner and yourself, but that business owner has employees. And the more successful that business owner can be, the more money he can afford to pay his good employees. He can hire better employees. They can upgrade their equipment. They can get better computers. They can add additional products and services. They can add more money to their marketing and attract better quality clients and attract more clients. And when you start to get buying additional products and services to sell to your customers, you're now helping your vendors, and you're helping your vendors and their employees and their families. So you see, when you go out and you help a business owner be more successful, you're not just helping that business owner, you're helping that business owner, their employees, their families, their vendors, their suppliers, and all the rest of those things. And you're also helping people make good decisions. Listen, and this applies to you, and it applies to your business owner clients. If you don't have, or your business owner doesn't have, the very best product or service available in the marketplace, then they need to do one of 2 things. Either quit selling it or upgrade it so that it is the best choice available. Now, if you do have the best choice available, what are your responsibilities? Your responsibility is to present it to as many people as possible who could possibly benefit from it. Not to try to sell them, but to give them all the information they need so they can make the decision that's right for them. Make a good purchasing decision. And let me give you an example. If your mother was about to buy something and you knew it wasn't right for her, it was a mistake because she could get a better product someplace else, what would you say to her? Mom, don't buy that. Buy this other product. And you try to give her the information that she needs to be able to make the decision that's right for her. And on the other side, if you said, well, Mom, here's a product that I think would be right for you. She's not even considering it, but you say, Mom, this is a good product, and this will change your life. It will make your life better. It will make it easier. It will make it more fun. It will make you happier. It will solve some of your problems. If you knew there was a product out there, wouldn't you feel a responsibility to tell your mom about it if it could help her? Of course you would. Now, why is your mom any different than my mom? Or why is your mom any different than my wife? Or why is your mom any different than anybody else? In other words, if you have a product or a service, or you know about one that could help somebody improve their life or their business or their relationship or whatever it happens to be, you have a responsibility and an obligation, a moral obligation to let other people know. Give them as much information about it as you can, not try to sell them, but give them the information so they can make an educated decision that's right for them. So that's why I say, even I believe in what you're doing so much. If your folks get out there and work for 30 days and you want to have a call and you want to sit down and say, all right, what are the questions you've had over the last 30 days? You and I get on a phone call and we'll talk to them and we'll help them solve their problem and give them some ideas. Then once they're out there for 90 days, now they've got a little bit more experience and they've worked with some other challenges. Now you want to have another call? Fine, let's get on a call. And I didn't ask you about that. So I'm hoping it's okay, but it's just something, a little bit of extra value. Let me just tell you how much I believe in Ian. Right now, what time is it for you?
10 to 7 here, Martin.
How much?
10 to 7?
10 to 7. All right, it's 10 to 4 a.m. my time. So it's, it's in the middle of the night for me, right? I've been up all night on this call so I could help you help your clients or your potential clients find some value that will make an impact on their life. That's why I say I believe in your product and your service so well and so much, because I've seen what it's done for our 2,800 clients, and I know it's done for your clients as well, and I believe in it. I have an obligation to be here in the middle of the night, taking time away from my sleep so that I can come here and help you help your clients and your potential clients. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make a change in your life and make a change in your prospective clients' lives, other business owners who can make an impact on them, their employees, their customers, their families, and their suppliers and vendors and their families and society in general, and help them not only make a better life for them, but make enough money so they can go off and do the things that they want to do, support the nonprofits, support children, and support the less fortunate, whatever it is that they want to do. This is an opportunity for you. I've seen what it's done for our clients and for Ian's clients, and it can do the same for you.
Well, Martin, I'm absolutely flabbergasted at the offer. You're definitely taking me by surprise here, Martin. Of course, I would love you to do that. Could I impose on you as well? I mean, it's very rare that anyone sort of gets access like this to you these days. Would you mind if I had my existing advisors come in on the call as well, so that we could have a group call on this? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. And anything I can do to help make your folks more successful. Look, we're all in this together. There is no competition. You mentioned there's 1,000 potential business clients out there for every consultant. You only need 6. There's no competition. We're in this together. If I can help you and help some of your folks, they're going to want to reach out and help somebody else. This is a family, and let's figure out how we can work together to make everybody successful. And when you do that, when you reach out and you share something with someone else, it not only helps them, but it helps you as well. And you come away feeling a lot better about things. So listen, I've got some skills, some knowledge, some education. I've got some expertise, some abilities. If I can help share those skills and all those things with someone else to make them successful, then, for me to hold that back and keep it myself, that's the most selfish thing I could do. So look, we're here for a short time, right? We're not here for very long, and the day is going to come when we're going to be asked to leave this planet and go someplace else. Whatever your belief system is. But while you're here, why don't we try to do whatever we can to help other people make their lives better, more fun, more productive, more profitable, have better relationships, a better lifestyle, have more of the things that are here for us to enjoy, instead of struggling every day. How am I going to pay the darn bills? That doesn't make any sense. So let's work together and see if we can make this thing work for everybody.
Well, I'm definitely going to take you up on it, and I can't thank you enough, Martin. That's very generous of you. Now, we've got a number of questions here, Martin. I'd love your help on your thoughts on some of them. So the first one is interesting. It says, I've never been asked this question before. Do you have an age limit? Now, what's your take on that, Martin? I have a criteria, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Do you have what was it?
An age limit. So someone's written a question in and said, do you have an age limit to become a consultant?
Oh, an age limit? No, well, listen, I'll be in October, just 3 months from now, I'll be 70. And I've been doing this for a long time. I got 48 years in business. My last company I ran for 18 years. I've created several different businesses. Some people look at it and say, well, the older you are, it looks like you've been around the block, like you've got some experience, right? You kind of know the ins and outs of business. And you mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, like, gee, I can't figure out how to get some of this technology to work. Sometimes, and so on the other side, you have young people who come into it and they say, well, listen, I know the latest technology. So you're going to have some advantages in both levels. The young person can say, well, I've got all this, you know, I'm up on the latest cutting edge things. So my kids and my grandkids can do things with a computer that I'd never in the world ever think of doing. I still can't figure out how to program my VCR, right? I mean, that's just something I can't figure out how to fix, how to turn the clock off or keep it from blinking. So I call my kids and have them come over and do that, or my grandkids. On the other hand, because I'm older and I've been around the block and I've seen some things, I can bring to a level of experience to business that somebody else can't bring. So, no, there's no age limit one way or the other. I mean, you just have to have the ability to follow a proven system and to do the work.
Yeah. So, in answer to that, who put that question in, the reality is I'd urge you to put the expression of interest in, and let's have a talk. And I do want to know that you've got the qualities to be successful. And I'm a great believer. I mean, one of my best sales consultants is a young whippersnapper. I think he's 23. Yeah, just turning 23, and he's one of the best out there. So put your expression of interest in. Let's have a talk. Now, another question is, when's the next intake? Well, quite honestly, as I said earlier, I don't do this just to make a lot of money. That's not my main criteria or motivating factor here, guys. The main reason I do is because as the students increase at Street Smart Business School, I want more high-quality advisors that I can then use to train my students and then use it as a training ground for you, as if you like an apprenticeship where I closely watch what you do. And after a while, you guys then get the confidence and you go off and you build your own very strong consulting practices. So that's my main motivation. So I don't know when the next intake, there's not going to be another one this year. And I don't know when the next one will be. So if this is of interest to you, I would urge you to cancel what you're doing, and I don't say this lightly, and then take action and do this. Now, it just reminded me, one of the guys, I only trained them because I did a training about 3 months ago, guys, and I'll see if I can get this up on the screen. I'm hoping I can. One of the guys flew from Belgium, so 40-odd hour flight to get here to Australia. He's a horse trainer, believe it or not, and I'm just going to see if I can get his communication up on Skype and bring that across. So where are we, Jarno? Are you there? I'm gonna. So within a week of him getting back to Belgium, he actually got his first client as well. But he spent a week here in Australia. Can you see my Skype screen, guys? Daisy, can you see my Skype screen?
All I can see is just your face there.
Oh, can you? Once again, you poor guys. Now, I'm just trying to quickly see if I can pull this together. I'll share a screen again. I'm trying to get this technology together. Let's give that a shot. Okay, can you see my Skype screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so on here, this is Jarno writing to me from Belgium. And I'll just read it out to all of you. It just says, "Hi Ian, how are things going? We did our first workshop, and out of that I got my first client. I'm really pleased with that. Tomorrow I have my first meeting where I'll do the business audit. I've noticed that in the manual there are no questions about admin and staff. Should I include questions about these topics? Hope all is well." I said, "Congratulations, Jarno. My wife says congratulations as well." My wife and I are mad horse riders, guys, just in case you're not aware. And so my wife said hello, said congratulations, and I said to him the systematic audit does not look into the accounts, although the mouse software does. it asks about their profits. If there's a specific area in admin that you're looking at, the first thing you should do is get them to develop their organisational chart, as I taught you, and then ask where their role and responsibilities are for each person and how they hold their staff accountable. He said, okay, thanks for that information. I've watched the reply of the previous webinar from last month. It was very interesting. I'll let you know how it goes. Then he writes back and says, hey, the business audit was a success. It took us 3 hours, but now I have a clear understanding of his business. Next week we have a meeting about the strategies that I'm going to create right now. Best wishes, Jano. So, guys, you get the idea of just how straightforward this is. This is a horse rider. He's a guy that has a skill as riding horses, not as training business consultants. And just following our system, he's now got a very happy client as well. So I hope that was interesting for you. Now, what other questions have we got here? Let me just have a look again. How's that, Martin, coming all the way from Belgium? He's a really lovely guy, I tell you.
That's great.
Now, Daisy, where are you, lovely Daisy? So I've got another question here. Peter Fowler, how do you select the business sector the consultant targets? Do most clients know? Yeah, so Martin, what are your thoughts on that? How do you select the business sector that the consultant should target? This is from Peter Fowler.
Business sector?
Yeah, so the niche. How do you target the right niche?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, let me just eliminate the ones that I don't want to work with personally, and I'll tell you why I don't. I don't work with manufacturing or so a lot of manufacturing is done on a bid basis. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to deal with the government or schools. Now, private schools, yes, but government schools and that kind of thing, I don't want to mess with that. So what I'm looking for two different kinds of businesses that this is what we teach our consultants. You may do it a little bit differently, but this is what we look at. First of all, we look at retail businesses that have a high turnover of products or services or customers. The more customers that come in, or the more times a customer comes in, the more opportunities you have to sell something additional. The more turnover of products, in other words, if you have a consumable product, something that they need to reorder over and over, then the more, then you're going to have an opportunity to sell more items to that customer. So that's the first thing. We look at retail that has a high turnover of customers or a high turnover of products or services. Second thing we look at is service businesses or professional businesses that we look for businesses that we can find a way to make them stand out. So for an example, we have accountants, you have accountants there. Most accountants work in a defensive posture. For example, they'll do your taxes for you, they'll take care of your bookkeeping, they'll take care of some of that thing. They'll keep you out of trouble with the government, they'll help you pay your taxes, but not too much. It's all defensive. But if you ask your accountant to help you grow your business, they don't know how to do it. And even if they did know how to do it, they don't have time to do it because they're running their own business. I remember years ago I went to my accountant and I said, Gary, you've got to help me with my taxes, I'm paying too much tax. He said, well, Martin, how much money do you want? And I said, well, I want $100,000. And he said, then go make $200,000. And that way, if you're in the 50% tax bracket, you got your $100,000, right? And I said, well, how do I do that? And he said, well, I don't know how you do that. And I said, well, what good are you? And in other words, I got thinking about it. He was absolutely right. He knew what to do, but he didn't know how to do it for my business. And even if he didn't know how to do it for my business, he can't do it for me because he's too busy running his own business. So the key is, what can I do to this accountant to make him stand out over all other accountants? Well, they do taxes and that, but what if he were to write a letter to all of his customers and say, listen, so many times people have come to us and said, hey, how can I improve my business? And all these years we have not been able to help them. But recently we tied into somebody named Ian Marsh, and he's a great consultant and a business development consultant. And we've got him working with us, and I'll set you up with him, and we'll pay for we'll give you a complimentary interview with him. So now this accountant has another income arm that's in here. In other words, he can start to help you grow your business. He's not doing it, but he brings on a staff member Doesn't really bring you on as a staff member, but he brings you on as a member of his team. So that's how a lot of our consultants get set up with that. They go out and they find businesses and they say, look, you got a professional business, but you offer these services. How can we bring another source of income to you and make you stand out so nobody else can compete with you? No other accountant can compete with this guy because this is what he offers. So we look at professional services and businesses like that we can set apart from the competition.
Fantastic. Now I've got another question here, Martin, and I agree with you 200%. I do like retail, Martin. I love retail. There's so much you can do because most retail stores just don't know how to run their store. But,
well, let me give you another thought here. People come into this business in three different ways. We have somebody come on and his business before was home remodeling. He understands how to remodel bathrooms and kitchens and add on a room or close in a patio or something. He understands how to do that. So when he came on, he said, well, I already know this business. I know the language of the business. I know the problems of the business. And so he said, I'm going to start that. That's the business I'm going to work in, that industry. And that's what he does. He works with home remodelers because he already knew that. He said, why would I want to go learn something else? Then we have another person, and she came on, and it was a lady, and she answered an ad in the newspaper for a cosmetic doctor, for a free checkup with her skin. So she went in and talked to the doctor, and when she was leaving, she said, oh, by the way, how do you do business, or how do you get your business? They said, well, we ran this ad in the paper. So she talked to her about that, and she already knew something about the cosmetic business because she got Botox before and she's gotten skin treatments before. And so she learned about that business, about the cosmetic doctor's business, and now she said, well, I've already learned this business. Why would I want to learn something else? So now her whole business is cosmetic doctors, cosmetic dentists, and eye surgeons. That's her whole thing, of vanity-type businesses. And then we have other people come in and say, well, listen, I don't want to work with a specific industry. I want to work with a whole bunch of different industries. I want to work with a plumber. I want to work with an accountant. I want to work with a bookkeeper. I want to work with an attorney. I want to work with a roofer. And so you can take something from one business and apply it in another business. They've never thought about that. So some come in with a business already in mind. Some fall into a business like Gail did. And other ones come in and they want to work with just a variety of businesses to keep it interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Look, very, very good points you raised there, Martin. Now, and bottom line is the other thing we want to do is make sure they've got decent margins in their industry as well, mate.
Right.
So they've got the profits there to be able to pay for your services. No use working with a $2 shop, the red dots and things like that. Now, we've got another question as well, which is, do most clients just want a preliminary assessment? What is the ongoing retention for a monthly relationship? Well, I'll answer it from my perspective first, and then I'll get Martin's take. But quite honestly, the people that I work with, I really can only think of one or two clients that ceased working with me. The reality is most clients you'll work with for probably at least 2 to 3 years. Now, after a while, they do get to a level, but I would say a relationship of 2 to 3 years is pretty much the norm 95% of the time. What would you say, Martin?
We always shoot for 3 years. Now, you can always come down, but if you get somebody for a year and say, oh, wait, I'd rather have 2 years. You can't go up, but you can come down in a bargaining point. But we always shoot for 3 years. Now, one of our consultants came to me. It was a lady, and she said to me, I have a business that he only wants to take it for 3 months. And I said, why does he want to take it for 3 months? Now, you already know the answer, right? He wants to try it out and see how it works, and if he likes it, then he'll continue it. So I said, go ahead and give him 3 months. And she said, really? I said, well, how much do you want? She said, well, I want a minimum of a year. I said, give him 3 months. And she said, really? Why? And I said, here's what you do. Say, listen, Ian, I don't mind giving you 3 months, but here's what's going to happen. I mean, just before you sign this, let me just tell you what will happen. In order for us to continue past the 3 months, you have to like what we've done, right? You have to be satisfied with the work I've done for you. Yes? Well, okay, I'd really like to have you for a longer period of time. So what do you think I'm going to do over that 3-month period? sit on my hands and do nothing, or work my heart out to try to make this as successful as we can? And he said, well, I'm sure you're going to work hard for me. That's right. Now understand what's going to happen. Right now, we're looking at your business on a, here's what I think I can do for your business basis. You and I have never worked together before. You don't know what I can do. I don't know what you can do. So basically what we're doing is looking at this on a, here's what I think we can accomplish. But at the end of 3 months, we now have some proof. And I'm going to come back to you and say, it's no longer here's what I think we can do. It's here's what I have actually done for you. Because I've worked my heart out over that 3 months. And you're going to say, hey, I like that. Let's renew it. And I'm going to say, okay, I'll be happy to renew it. But understand now that the price was this level. Now the price is going to be this level plus it's going to be a higher level. And you're going to say, well, I don't want to pay for that. But you got to understand that the value is greater now that we have proof, right, than it was before. Because we didn't know what we could do. But now we have proof. So the value has to be higher. So I'm going to have to charge more. And you're going to say, but I don't want to pay that. And I'm going to say, that's okay. Remember, we had a 3-month contract. So we don't have any agreement from this point on. So now I'm a free agent, and I can go down the street and talk to somebody else and say, listen, let me show you what I've been able to do for a business just like yours. I might not mention any names, but a business just like yours in the same town, selling the same product with the same customers. Everything's the same. And you know what they're going to say to me? How much? It doesn't matter how much you want. I'll just write you a check. You tell me what you can do. So you walked away with a 3-year contract for $3,000 a month and 10% of anything she generated over the baseline. See, so you kind of look at this and say, you got to be smart about this. And by the way, you know, I mentioned this earlier. If you're producing results for somebody and you're only taking 10%, that means they're getting 90% of something that they wouldn't have if it wasn't for you. So why in the world would they want to stop the agreement?
Yep. No, you're right on the money, Martin. I love it. Geez, you're a character. I love how you think. Buddy, now listen, another question. This one's from David Miller. I've never run a business. Does that matter? Now, what are your thoughts on that? So he hasn't.
You just cut out on me, Ian. Your voice cut out. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, so the question from David Miller is that he's never run a business before. Now, I do have a take on that. I do like to see businesses that have had management experience or they have owned a business. Now, that's been a criteria that I've had for quite a while. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Martin.
Well, first of all, let me just say there are 2 kinds of people in the workforce. There are some who are employee-oriented. In other words, they have to, if they go to work every day and sit at a desk and somebody comes in and hands them a stack of papers and says, do this, they can do it. They have an employee mentality. Or they work in a factory or a shop and the work is there for them. They don't have to go get the work. That's an employee mentality. Then you have other people that say, well, listen, I wake up every morning, I don't have a stack of things. I got to go out and create my own stack of things. That's the entrepreneur. So you have to take a look at that and say, where am I? Am I more comfortable going someplace and having them get the customers for me and let me just do the work? Or am I a self-starter, a self-motivated person who can go out and generate my own business? Yeah, I have a plan and a system, but that's one thing. The other part of that is, can I put it to work? So you have to take a look at it and say, and I think the best thing in this situation would be for this person to fill out the application and then sit down with you and talk about that, and you can kind of get a feeling for where they are, and let them decide, am I an entrepreneur kind of, look, if the phone doesn't ring, what are you going to do about it? You know, I mean, in business, if you're working for somebody else, the phone doesn't ring, hey, that's okay, it's your job to get the phone to ring. But in your own business, if the phone doesn't ring, what are you going to do? If it's raining, you know, and you don't have to go to work, what are you going to do? You got to sit home and watch television, or are you going to get up and get out there and make something happen? So there's some people that make things happen, some people that let things happen, and then there are those who wonder what happened. You know?
Yeah, well, that is the difference, isn't it, Martin? You do have that person that'll sit and watch TV and then think, woe is me, and you got the other guy that says, well, if it's raining, I can do prospecting, I can do research, I can do all different things, you know.
Sure.
So Now, there's another question from Lisa. She says, would you borrow to do this as I am starting over? What are your thoughts on that one, Martin?
So for some reason you're breaking up on me there, so say it again.
So Lisa says, would you borrow money to do this as I am starting over?
You know, I'm really not a fan of borrowing money to go into business. I don't like that idea at all. It all depends on you and what your track record is. First of all, why are you starting over? You know, we got to understand that. Did you start a business and go out of business, and you know you did do enough to make that happen? Was it the economy? Just what happened? So there's some things that you need to know before you give a definitive answer on that. And once again, I'd say fill out the expression of interest and then talk to that person about it, because there's some things there, some background that you need to know about to give a proper answer to that. But I would say, unless you're a real motivated, self-starting person, look, your program isn't a magic bullet, right? It can provide the roadmap and provide everything you need except the work. You have this great program, but it can't provide the work for you. So it doesn't matter how great the program is. There's no guarantee of success. You know, a person is driven and really understand, they can go out and do this without your program. But you put the two together, somebody with a great work ethic and a great program, they'll be massively successful. But I think Lisa you need to find out a bit more about Lisa and what her situation is, why she's starting over, and what her track record has been up to this point. What has she done in her life before?
And that's pretty much my take as well. Now, once again, putting it in perspective, you know, if you borrow money to buy a McDonald's, like a lot of people do, or many people borrow money to buy a business of some sort, and this is a business, ladies and gentlemen. It just doesn't have the massive capital expense that most businesses have, but it is critical that you do have that motivation and you back yourself. Because we can't do your push-ups for you. That's just the long and the short of it. But I'd love you to put an expression of interest in, and let's have a chat. I really am a straight talker. If I don't think that this is the right fit, I will tell you, because generally I probably reject maybe about 30% of the applications because I just have a bit of concern, because it's not just about the money. I want your success as much as you do. And so I do what I can to make sure that happens. So, mate, look, that's the last question, it looks like. I'll just check with the lovely Daisy. Daisy, are there any other questions there for us? Yeah, it's quite amazing, Martin. Practically nobody. We've been on this call for over 2.5 hours, and hardly anyone has dropped off the line. And they've just been listening to your words of wisdom and the information we've been sharing. And I want all of them to realise that I recognise them as well, because you're looking for solutions. If you are not happy with anything that's going on and you're looking to change something in your life, you've been here this long, I would urge you to say, okay, well, decide. If you're not happy about something, this is the frustration part. Don't just get aggravated. If you're not happy with a relationship, please do something about it. You know, if you're not happy with the amount of money you're making, please, you can do something about it, but it has to be up to you to decide to do something about it. We have one opportunity. We have one methodology that is proven to be very successful. Many of our students earn 6- and 7-figure incomes. This is not make-believe, it's just real life. I've learned from one of the true masters in the world. I'm lucky enough to have learned from 2 of the true masters in the world, marketing and business, so I'm very blessed. Martin, I thank you so much for spending this time online with me. It's been a blast, mate, and I can't thank you again for offering to do that follow-up call 30 days after the training. I'll take you up on that, and my other advisors are going to be over the moon to get access to you, because I know you don't do this very often anymore. So thank you very much, Martin, for your time on the call. Thank you, everyone that's been listening. I don't know if you have any other final words before we go, Martin, and then we'll just wrap this up.
I think I'm going to go to bed. It's 4:17 in the morning, and I'm going to get a couple hours of sleep and get back up and go at it again tomorrow, or later today.
Good.
So, yeah, no, this has been a blast, Ian. You've got a great program. I highly recommend it, and like I said, I know what you have to offer. I know what we have to offer, and I know it's very similar to what you do. And if there's anything I can do to help you be more successful and helping your clients be more successful, helping their clients be more successful, that's really what it's all about. Look, we're here for a short time, and you know, let's have a good time while we're here. There's no reason in the world why we have to work until we're 65, 70, unless that's what you want to do. Like in my case, I made enough money. I don't need to work anymore, but I do it because what else am I going to do? My kids work, my friends work. What am I going to do? Sit around and watch television? I've got a skill set, some knowledge, and some ability and expertise. Why not share it with other people? It'd be real selfish for me to just quit. And here's the other thing. When people get 65, hit 65 years of old age, you know, it's retirement age for us. I think it's the same thing for you. Typically, it's retirement, right? So people work and they get all this information, all this knowledge, they bring all this value, and then they quit. Well, I'm going to retire and go fishing. Well, that's great, but wait a minute. You're just cheating all these other people with this knowledge. Why don't you do something because that's what you really want to do? Why don't you go back and try to help somebody younger than you or less fortunate than you be more successful? So that's my situation. I mean, I could quit and just do nothing, which I've done a couple of times. I've retired 3 times already, and it's just like boring. You know, I want to be able to help other people be successful. So.
Very true. Well, Martin, look, you've been very kind with your time. I can't thank you enough, and I'll be talking to you again. Looks like about 30 days after the training, so I can't wait to touch base with you again. Ladies and gentlemen, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Don't forget, hit the button if you'd like to put an expression of interest in. We'll have a chat. See you, Martin. Thanks again, mate.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks, and good luck.